If you've ever been extremely excited for a TV show to have its season premiere tonight, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We're back. That's right. It is the season premiere of Oak Island tonight. But before that happens, we've got to talk about the market. We've got to talk about what's going on. Big cap tech. Is this the top? Is it going to sell off? Bitcoin is absolutely in fuego. It's a T3 Tuesday. We got stuff to cover. Let's roll. Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. We're almost halfway through November. I can't believe how fast 2024 is going by, but big morning here today. Good morning, Jaron. Good morning, Kayla. Angel, Joel, and Dennis are doing their own thing on their own channel, but good morning. It's great to see you. James, welcome back. Jonathan and Jane, welcome back as well. Definitely want to hear what you folks are looking at. Did you trade anything today or for earnings yesterday? What's going on? Let's take a look at the market and see where we're at. So the big thing for me, we're looking at the SPY right now. Things seem to have kind of slowed down a little bit here. This thing's been really kind of gangbusters since the election, and looks like, at least on the indice here, it might be slowing down. This is what the SPY looks like. Here's what the Qs look like, also maybe slowing down, and here is what the IWM looks like. So IWM leading the way along with Bitcoin here. The big thing for me, the big kind of overarching concept here that I'm kind of looking for is what's happening with the market. Is the market breadth broadening? Is that broadening likely to continue? What type of valuation expansion are we going to get? I don't really think you're going to see a whole lot in big cap tech. They've already had their values expanded quite a bit. I mean, just take a look at what's happened with a lot of the semiconductor names. So what I'd be looking for here is, where does the breadth expand to? And then what type of earning growth actually drive those returns? So that's kind of what we're looking for here, and that's kind of what we'll see or what we'll watch for when some of this breadth expands. So we'll see what the SPY does here today. Take a look inside at the pre-market here. It's just kind of holding in there, not really doing a whole lot. We'll see what happens when the market opens. Now, before we get to the T3 Tuesday here, I do want to cover some of the earnings from last night or from this morning here. So I definitely want to get your thoughts on the broader market. My question here, just kind of generally, is 600 the near-term top? Do we blow through 600? Let me know what you guys think about that. What are you trading? What are you looking for? How are you going to position yourself for the rest of the year? Do we get a December and a Santa Claus rally and a really kind of a bullish end to the year here and then sell off in 2025? Or do we maybe start seeing some chinks in the armor ahead of 2025? That's kind of the discussion that we're looking for all day, and with the happy hour group as well as with some of the traders. Now, one of the big things still kind of weighing on the semis is going to be Taiwan Semiconductor, right? We had news yesterday or over the weekend about the U.S. not saying don't send chips to China. Of course, one of the TSM chips was discovered in one of the Huawei products. That's obviously causing some problems. So this seems to be weighing on the semiconductor market, but along with that, do we kind of spread out? Do we sell some of those winners in the semi space and then branch out into other stocks? That would be great for the market and great for the traders. Good morning, Jay Harris. Great to see you. Michael, good morning. Paul, good morning. All right. Chuck, great to see you as always here. So, all right, let's take a look. I do want to check in really quick on Tesla. That was one of the biggest movers of the day yesterday. Tesla has really just been going crazy since the election here. And we actually did a really good job charting Tesla here as well. So we had a number of upside levels that we were looking for. The first area of resistance was going to be this purple shaded area. And you can see where I got this from. This was from consolidation back from the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. We actually retested that area several times in the latter half of 2022 before dropping beneath it. Now, it would appear, at least on this recent run, especially with the increased volume, we didn't even chill. We didn't even find resistance there. We blew right through that area, as well as 300, which is the bottom end of that area. And now we're going for some of these other targets. 371, 403, and 413 are the Tesla targets that we're looking for. It's been gangbusters. Today, though, actually looks like it is a little bit weak here in the pre-market. Didn't really see anything here in the news. Might just be kind of a regression back to the mean. Sorry, let me get my shading back here. Looks to be just kind of a regression back to the mean. Little bit of a pullback here. Did a pretty good job holding the double bottom from yesterday's intraday session. We're trading back above that. This is going to be the downside level to watch for me here today. All right, let me get you an exact number there. Right in here, 336 and a quarter. This level, if we break this to the downside here, I think we might continue to pull back in. And if we're able to maybe retest some of those pre-market highs up there at 360, maybe we can go ahead. Or maybe we can go a little bit higher here and then start attacking some of those levels that we were just talking about there. So don't forget, the one thing I wanted to mention, we didn't talk about this at all yesterday, but Tesla holds Bitcoin. Right. So is Bitcoin here just absolutely raging? Let me actually see if I can get a Bitcoin chart up here for you. Just absolutely cruising. In fact, I was looking here this morning, 90,725 on the Bitcoin futures. That's going to be /BTC. Let me go ahead and get you the Bitcoin USD price right here. We'll take a look at that chart as well. Bitcoin has just been absolutely raging here. New highs. I definitely think that the 100K level, this was a big level that folks were talking about last year. I think that's absolutely in play by the end of the year this year. Heck, might be in play by the end of the week if this continues to trade up here. So Bitcoin just kind of a monster move. And again, that is helping Tesla as well. One thing that we did see on Tesla yesterday was going to be some increased call flow. Now, if we take a look inside here on Tesla, you can see that the last several days here have been really kind of a big move. Now, yesterday in the pre-market, we actually gapped up, tried to go higher as well in the intraday session. Saw lots and lots of call buying. Today, we're pulling back a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if we actually return to some of those highs or set some new highs. But just wanted to mention that Tesla, this is one that we take a look at every single day. Our traders trade this pretty much every single day as well, and that is also moving here with Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at some of the earnings from today. We're going to start with Home Depot. This is ticker HD. At Home Depot here, one of the better hurricane plays. Generac, probably your biggest hurricane play, but Lowe's and Home Depot also hurricane plays. You can see here, Home Depot has had really kind of a good year here. We pulled back in March, pulled back to a previous resistance level that has now become support, and it has just kind of run away since then. Now we are approaching a double tap here. So the number that I have to watch here is going to be 420.50, right? 420.50. If we can break that, this double top going all the way back to 2021, this thing, new all-time high, probably breaks and moves even higher after that. So definitely one of the upside levels that I want to watch here on Home Depot. If we kind of give some of these gains back here, the first level that I'm going to be watching is going to be the 20-day moving average. We also have a small gap beneath that that takes us right down to 400. So this 400 level definitely going to come in play if we sell off. We'll see if we end up getting that here today. Good morning, Judge. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Fairchild and Andrew, welcome back as well. Hope you folks are having a good morning. We're looking to turn on the profitability jets here in a little bit. All right, but before we do that, we're actually get you prepared for the market here. Let's take a look at Home Depot's earnings here. So there's a beat on the top and the bottom line for Home Depot. EPS came in at 376, which beat the 364 estimate, so pretty healthy beat there. Sales 40.21 billion. This is ahead of the 39.17 billion estimate. Again, some of the bullishness here likely attributed to the hurricane and the rebuild that has to go from that. So Home Depot here reporting a beat on the top and bottom line. Comp sales minus 1.3%. U.S. comp sales down by 1.2%. Stock here up about 1.5% in the pre-market. Now the conference call starts in about 50 minutes. So we'll see if there's anything that we get out of that conference call. I'm curious to see if analysts ask them about their projections post-hurricane and all of that, and how all that goes. So we'll see if Home Depot gets some more movement here, but that's what's going on here with the level or with the earnings report, and then the different levels. So just to kind of recap here, again, 420, that's going to be your all-time high. If this thing can really get rolling, watch for a break of the 20-day moving average at 402.50. We'll call it 402.44. Let's just call it 402.5. And then a potential gap below. Now, if we do fill that gap below, you should also have some pretty good support from the 50-day moving average. Current value for the 50-day moving average, 396.82. And you can see recently, stock has really kind of held on to this area for some support before pushing back up to these highs. So we'll see here, 420.50, the level to watch. You can't talk about Home Depot without talking about Lowe's as well. Let's go ahead and pull up Lowe's. Remember, they are going to have earnings next week, next Tuesday, before the market opens. So I'm sure we'll talk about Lowe's then. Just kind of zooming out here, Lowe's chart looking very similar, although we don't really have that multi-year double top. We've already taken that out. We had a new impulse move to a new all-time high here up at about 288, just shy of 288. We pulled back to the 50-day moving average, just like Home Depot did. And look at that. This thing rode the 50-day. Very, very similar to Home Depot. We actually pushed above. We're above the same 20-day moving average. And actually, we're in a gap here. We did kind of fill this gap and pull back a little bit, 276.60-ish. We'll see if we can push through there and then get back up to this 280. And then the all-time high here, let me get you the exact value on that. 287.01 is going to be your all-time high. We'll see if Lowe's can take that out or even challenge some of that prior to the earnings report. The other thing here about Lowe's, we're kind of in no man's land with RSI, just kind of right in the middle there. So we should have no problem on a relative strength basis. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to go to? We also want to talk about Tyson, right? Ticker TSN. They reported earnings here today. One thing to note here on Tyson, remember, this actually took a hit when we saw that McDonald's E. coli issue kind of break out. They were very, very quick to figure out that it was not them. It wasn't any product that they had. It was obviously the onions, not the beef or the chicken or anything like that. So Tyson pretty insulated from that. Prior to this report here, Tyson had a really intriguing spot right at the 200-day moving average. That's going to be this blue line that you see here on my chart. Value there, 58.61. They reported earnings here today. They're trading up just under 6%, up to 62.30. You can see where that is on the chart. That actually takes out the 50-day and the 100-day moving average, which are converged at 60.19 right there. And then the other thing is that this kind of runs up to this same level that we found resistance at in the middle of September. So this level is really kind of what we need to take off here. It looks like 62.50, 62.60-ish is going to be that level there. Tyson obviously sitting here at 62.30, so right beneath it. We'll see if that can get rolling here. Once again, RSI not in a bad spot. A MACD kind of right in the middle of that as well. Same deal here with Tyson. They're going to have a conference call starting up here in just about 47 minutes. So we'll see if we get any more clarity on future business here for Tyson and how all of those product lines, packaged foods, chicken, the whole nine yards. We'll see how all of that stuff looks, or here we'll see if what we hear about from the conference call. Beg your pardon. All right. Next here is going to be Shop. Keith, looks like you wanted to take a look at Shop. Ask and you shall receive, my friend. Ticker SHOP, Shopify. They also reported earnings here up 15%, just shy of 15% here. Big pop here on Shop. This actually took us above 100. Top and bottom line beat. Let's go ahead and take a look at the number real quick. Top and bottom line beat. Sales 2.162 billion, beat the 2.1138 billion mark. This is, of course, obviously ahead of the Christmas season. That bodes pretty well. Revenue growth, mid to high 20% year over year. So pretty good data print there. And as I just mentioned from looking at the chart, we do have the 100 breakout on that chart. So seems like a pretty good report here on the right on the top. You're in Shopify. Today is probably a pretty good day. If we take a look at where the chart is, you'll see that this actually, I wrote it in my notes here, the 100 breakout, and now it's at a former support from 2021. So let's take a look and see what I mean. Right in here, okay, we had what looked like a triple bottom, and it's right at this level. This is on the way up from Shopify. Actually, you can see that this was a very, very clear trend. During this trend, we actually found some support right here. When we back tested this level, it was right in here. The reason I'm bringing this up is because this level, and then actually it's hard to see, but again, we found some support here in January of 2022 on the way back down. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because fast forward to today, here we go. We're pretty much right at that level after this earnings report here. So we've seen stocks make these huge moves. I mean, 15% after earnings. That's a huge move. We're trading right into a resistance area. Can we take that out? Can we actually break out from that level? We'll see what we get here today. Again, conference call. This conference call actually starting in just about 14 minutes. So we'll see what happens there with Shopify. Keith, I'm curious, did you trade Shopify? Were you holding this for the earnings print? And then the other thing that I'm curious, especially when it comes to Shopify, do you folks use the actual product? Like my experience with Shopify just kind of happened by accident. A couple of the companies that I order from, they do their shipping. They use the Shopify portal and all that. Otherwise, I have, pretty much, I don't choose to use this. I know I get some of these rewards for using Shopify or for buying product from some of the stores that use Shopify. But those rewards have never really enticed me to go buy something else. So I'm just curious how everyone else kind of uses this product. Still fairly new to me. Nonetheless, though, pretty good pop here. The one thing that I will say is I know this has been one that we've been talking about for a while. If you're in this trade, especially after earnings, I really don't think it's a bad risk management move to at least book some of those gains. Really depends on your time horizon. If you're looking at this for super long term, or if your trade plan wanted to encompass the holiday season coming up here, maybe that's a little bit different. But a pop like this, especially coming off the bottom about $30, to me, it's just seems obvious to kind of take some gains. Pay yourself maybe on the way up. Jane saying never used it. Sun Kissed Yogi. Sweet handle. Never used it. That's kind of my thing. Like, this is not, I just happen to track some of my packages through Shopify. I've never actually choose to use it. So I'm curious if there's anyone out there that has really good experiences or some pro tips on using that. I'd be extremely curious on how you do that. 3D, never used it. See, and you know what? Everyone that I talk to seems to say the same thing. So a bit puzzling, but in any case, that's what's going on here with Shopify. Jane says, lol, I still use cash. Look, cash is king. Let's face it. I mean, you can still use it at stores, obviously, but how you get, someone to mow your lawn or one of the neighbors to clean out your gutters or watch one of your pets or something like that. What else are you going to use but cash? Always good to have cash on hand. The one thing that I'll say is I know we've kind of moved more to this debit card, credit card, NFC payment. I still carry cash. The hard workers at the golf clubs that I golf to, they deserve a tip. It's always nice to give them a little bit of cash. Okay. One more stock that is reporting earnings here. One of my new favorite stocks here, ticker ON. This is On Holdings. This is the On running shoes. I have an interesting story here. I'm a new customer to ON Running. So far, so good on the shoes. Pretty impressed with the quality. We'll see how they end up wearing. That was kind of the big thing that I had with the last brand, which was Hoka. But aside from my own personal experience here on holding shares, this was a mixed report, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the number here. They missed on EPS, but they beat on sales. So EPS number here, adjusted EPS 17 cents. The estimate was for 23 cents, so just missed by a little bit there. Sales, however, 734.5 million. This was better than the 704.5 million estimate that we had. So there we go. Also raised its guidance. All right. Raised its guidance. That's going to be really big. 60.5 gross profit margin. Really, really awesome. If we take a look at the chart here, you can see that this formation, pretty great, right? We had this big impulse move shortly after IPO, took us to just shy of 66. In fact, let me see if I can get you that exact number there. 55. Oh, come on. 55.87 is, I believe, what that said there. Yeah, 55.87 going to be your all-time high. Sure looks like ON is trying to trade up and hit that. If we zoom into the recent action here, you can see we're actually breaking out of this level right here. Really, really good to see. You definitely want to do that. 55.87 in play if we can continue to have some upside momentum here. Taking a look at the RSI, 60. I've got it at 61 here, so approaching that oversold territory, or excuse me, overbought territory, but still has some room to go here. MACD on the daily chart looks pretty good. One thing that is concerning, though, we are a little extended from the 200-day moving average. We're nearly 25% away from this 200-day moving average. So if we do get any type of headlines about the consumer cooling, and if the market really kind of stops its rage here, perhaps this does pull back. The first thing that I want to see is, how does it deal with this breakout level? All right, if it kind of holds or consolidates around this breakout level, that bodes well for this really not selling off much more if it does crack that. Otherwise, we could really kind of see this come in. So ON, exciting. Can't wait to see. What this actually does. No position here, so I'd be looking for a new one. This one I would not be opposed. To trading. All right. Remember, we are going to have Scott Redler here from T3 pretty soon. We're going to do that in about 14 minutes. I do have something for you here. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat for you. You can download Scott's free ebook to see his #1 spot to buy and get his free indicator that alerts you. So link there in the chat. Go ahead and check that out. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to ask Scott, I would be happy to do that. Been talking to a couple of the traders in my network, and a lot of them talk about how prop trading really has the edge. So I'm going to ask Scott about that. I'm going to see what he considers his edge and how he actually uses that edge. If you have anything that you want me to ask him, let me know. We'll go ahead and do that when we bring him on here. So again, check out that free ebook in the chat. Scott's been doing this a long time. Really, really good dude. Really, really good dude. Okay. There was another, you guys were asking here about one stock. I think it was SoundHound. Let me see if I can find that here. Sound is going where? So Chuck, you're asking about ticker SOUN. This is, of course, SoundHound. This has been really kind of a rager recently. Don't forget, SoundHound AI. This is a company that has workings with NVIDIA. That was one of the things that really kind of pushed this thing when it first started to move. We'll see where this ends up going here. Now, recently, we've had a really, really nice push off of these converged moving averages, right? So RSI was kind of just right in the middle here. Recently, we really started to push away. I'll tell you what, it sure looks like an 8 test and perhaps an 8 break is coming up here. This was a former resistance spot that we're now pushing up to. If we break out there, to me, that definitely puts the 10 all-time high in play, or not all-time high, excuse me, the recent high in play here. All-time high going to be up at 18. Things really need to get wild for that. We do have earnings today. right? We do have earnings today. So Chuck, I know that you were asking me, where is this going to go? Well, I don't have any type of insight for you on the earnings. I mean, just taking a look at this, really good analyst coverage here does seem to be a little bit expensive, right? 2.8 billion market cap versus sales of 13.5 million. Really kind of seems expensive there. And again, I just think that, some of this AI craze or this AI phase, if you will, really kind of dragging some of these names with it. And I think SoundHound is one of those. So we'll see where this ends up going. One of the things here for the bulls say SoundHound AI has demonstrated robust revenue growth with an 18.6% year-over-year increase to 13.3 million, outperforming market expectations due to strong performance within its automotive customer segment and notable wins such as Stellantis. So does have some backing there, does have some deals with some bigger companies. Hopefully, if they have a good report, we could really see this move. Speaking of that, if we do have a really good report, one of the things we want to take a look at is going to be the short interest on some of these stocks. Now, Sound here, short interest has kind of remained steady for most of the fall here, really kind of hovering around 25%. Only 3 days to cover on this. So it's possible that even if you do get kind of a short covering rally, that it is a very quick-lived short covering rally. But again, Chuck, just to kind of go back to your question here, I really think that the next stop here is 8. If we break 8 and it continues to trade with on good news with any type of momentum, I don't think 10 is out of the question. I really don't. But again, just keep in mind, we've really kind of moved away from this consolidation area. I like this more anywhere between 5 and 6 in terms of holding it. I know that there were a number of people in our community, both the Benzinga Pro chat community, the live trading community, and the happy hour community that have been trading this. This has actually produced quite a bit of wins recently. So would love it for all of you holders to actually get rewarded here on earnings. No position for me, but I'm interested to see where this ends up going. Maverick saying, thanks, Ryan. You were right on TSN. You're welcome, man. Tyson is a company that I followed for a long time, and it's not one of the sexy companies. It's not in the semiconductor space. It doesn't have a whole lot of really good news, but I'll tell you what, profit is profit. And one of the reasons why I actually didn't trade, I'll give you a little pro tip here in my experience trading Tyson. One of the reasons I didn't trade this for this particular earnings print is because one of the things I noticed is that occasionally Tyson will see these extremely large option sweeps. I don't just mean like an option trade, like someone buying a block of calls. I mean a sweep where they are sweeping up every call that they can get. And what I've noticed is that every time that some of these big sweeps are 10,000 contracts or more, the stock almost always goes in that direction. That is to say, if out of the money calls are being bought that encompass an earnings, and there's 10,000 or more of them, the chances are pretty good that the stock is going to trade up. I've seen that quite a bit on Tyson. I've actually traded that myself. I've literally followed call buyers into their position just based on the size, only to be rewarded by the print. So I didn't see that this time. No position here on Tyson, but you can see exactly what we've done, right? We've really kind of traded up here. We'll see if we end up getting above this 66.84. And I mean, look at the moves here. They're really just a quality company that's going to be around. And I tell you what, adding this on dips has really kind of been a good move. We continue to push away here. 60 might have been the price. We'll see. I know this thing got down to about 45. We were actually looking for 40 to 41 from the happy hour projections. We never quite got there. Had to be a little bit aggressive taking a starter position there on Tyson. Maverick here, and this call goes to anyone else. If you folks, if we ever talk about a stock here as a group and you take it and you have a winning trade, tweet at me. Tweet at me. I will retweet your tweet. Let's go ahead and just kind of boost our community. Anything that we're doing here to make money. I know that the entire thing that we do, both here and on live trading, is going to be kind of sharing information. If we can do that, let's go ahead and tweet those out. I'd be happy to retweet those for you. Okay, I paid a high price for Tyson. You might be all right, though. You might be all right. The one thing that I could say, if you do feel like you paid too high of a price for Tyson, one of the things you might be able to do is sell some upside calls on that. If you get called away, no big deal. You're selling upside calls, and you're obviously collecting the premium. If the stock continues to sell off and you feel like, oh, hey, my price was a little bit too high, at least now you're kind of working some of that back by selling those upside calls. Tyson, not one of those stocks that moves with like gigantic movements. So maybe that'll help you out with your entry price there. You can kind of synthetically lower your entry price on that. Ken saying, looks like a cup and handle is forming on Google. Let's take a look here at Google. Got about 5 minutes until Scott is here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Google. The other thing is, I'd like to know if there are any other stocks that you have that you want to take a look at. We can absolutely do that. We are going to have some kind of extended ticker time after we have Scott here. And once 13 gets here, we'll go ahead and roll through some of the movers as well. Looking at Google here, I'm going to start with the daily chart before we move over to the 4-hour chart. We take a look here at the daily chart. This has actually had some really good movement recently. We did a great job holding the 200-day. When we dipped beneath it, we actually reclaimed it in pretty short order. So that was pretty nice. Thank you guys for giving me some more stocks to look at here. Avago is on there. AVGO. Grab, they reported earnings this morning. We can take a look at that. BNED, that's Barnes & Noble. We took a look at that recently. And then, of course, NVIDIA. We'll always take a look at NVIDIA. That's probably going to be a daily thing. But anyway, getting back to Google here. On the daily chart, it sure looks like it wants to break this off, right? Really good volume recently. RSI here just shy of overbought territory, but honestly, given the momentum that we're currently seeing here, I think that's probably okay. If tech continues to remain strong, if tech continues to remain strong, look for a possible breakout here, 183.5. You do have the high here, 193. I believe that is an all-time high. Indeed, it is. All-time high right up here, 193.5. Google, obviously, AI, data centers, the whole thing kind of driving this. Looking pretty good here on the chart. Now, the 4-hour chart that you wanted to take a look at, let's go ahead and do that here. All right. So you were saying that it looks like a cup and handle forming on the 4-hour chart. So just kind of looking at this is going to be your cup, right? And then you really kind of want to see a handle here, don't you? So let's actually go ahead and add some arrows here just to kind of, so here's let's see if I can do a little bit better job with that. This is basically the cup. Okay. It's kind of a janky cup there. Sorry, I never really passed art class. But what you're looking for next here is maybe a pullback on the handle. And I'll be honest, this handle pullback to 175, 176, that's about all I'd want to see. I really wouldn't want this to come in much more than that, especially I wouldn't really want it to break this 50-day. I think that might scare traders away. But if we get a little bit of a pullback here to give us that handle, maybe even a little bit more, you could make the argument that we did try to already start to form this handle as we came down from 183 to 179, but we want to see a little bit more on this handle here. And then once we hold, that's going to be the entry trigger. The next move you want to see here is going to be higher. So we'll see if we end up getting this here on the Google chart, Ken. I'd be curious to know, are you trading this? Are you positioned for this? Or is this a setup that you're actually currently looking for right now? So you let me know what you think here on Google of that cup and handle. All right, let's see. What else did I miss here? Fitness short data, massive 3 days to cover. Okay, Eugene says, I have a couple of sound calls. Okay, are you playing that for earnings? Are you going to hold those through earnings, or are you looking to lighten that here right ahead of the earnings print? AV, can you look at Home Depot? We already looked at Home Depot here this morning. Just really quickly, I can really quickly cover it. Let me go back to the daily here. It was a top and bottom line beat. They raised guidance. The 420.50 area, that's going to be right in here. That's going to be your double top. This goes all the way back to, I believe, 2001. Yes, indeed. So that 420.50 area is going to be the next upside target. The next downside targets here, the 20-day SMA, which is at 402.44, and there's a potential gap down to about 400. If it does do that, we should see some additional support below that 400 gap at about 397. Okay, so again, we did a little bit more of a robust coverage earlier, but there you go. There's the recap here on Home Depot. See if we get another possible trade here. All right, a couple minutes, and we're going to have Scott Redler on from T3. Again, let me go ahead and post that here in the chat. I encourage you to download Scott's free ebook to see his number one spot to buy, get his free indicator that alerts you to all that. Scott Redler from T3, just awesome. All right. In the meantime, let's take a look at some of those other charts that you folks want to take a look at. We can go to Broadcom. This is, of course, ticker AVGO. Good morning. Stay focused. Great to see you. Great to see you here. Let's see what's going on with the Broadcom chart. Okay, here you go. So Broadcom, this is, again, just part of the whole chip trade that we have. This holding up near all-time highs. I know the upside level, this pretty much stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? 185 to 186, this level breaking to the upside is what long traders are looking for. Let's see if we get a blue sky breakout, new all-time highs. The pullbacks to the 200-day have really been great buy entries here on Broadcom. In fact, I think there's a gentleman from our happy hour and live trading crew that trades this quite often. Has made a whole lot on this. When is their earnings coming up here? Let's see. Let's go figure that out. Their next earnings is unconfirmed. So they just had earnings at the beginning of September. Their next earnings report is going to be at the beginning of December. We're estimating that here for December 5th. So we still have some time here on Broadcom. I have no trade on this one. Let's see. Were the insiders doing anything with this recently? Yes, as a matter of fact, they were. So middle of October, you had a whole bunch of the C-suite executives selling a lot of stock there. Really kind of amazing that we're still holding up at this level here. If we don't break out here, I'd really like to see yet another pullback here to the 200-day. Eventually, that's going to create kind of like a triangle formation where we're really just going to kind of compress here, and something's going to need to happen, either a substantial breakdown or a breakout. We'll see. I think this is going to go with the market. Let me know if there was anything else on Broadcom that you were looking at here. Palantir is getting mentioned here. Yes, absolutely. We will take a look at Palantir. That's going to be ticker PLTR. Where is the top on Palantir? I got to say, first things first, this has been an amazing trade for our group. Just absolutely phenomenal. We were talking about this in the mid to high 20s as a long trade. We had Anne Marie give out a butterfly on this. We had a whole bunch of people trading calls to the upside. This thing has been an absolute rocket to the upside. One thing to keep in mind here, just where we're at right now, let's go ahead and measure this. We are 50.5%, 50.5% away from the 200-day moving average. Look, no other way to say this. This stock really does need a pullback. RSI is completely overcooked here at 78.5. You'd really like to have this kind of come in, though. Before we did this recent move here, which is going to be on the back of the election, we started to get high RSI on this most recent move. We traded sideways. That kind of brought it back in. And as soon as that happened, that set up for the next rocket higher here. For a long side trade, I'd absolutely love to get this stock cheaper. I do feel like we're extremely extended, so a pullback at this point would be healthy, especially to longs. Made a lot of really good money on the way up, which was excellent to see. So I'd like for this to really kind of come back in, hold one of those levels there. It looks like we got the 20-day here at 47. Frankly, I'd like to see it come in a little bit more. 40 would be pretty good. Yeah, let's have this come back in and then reload it. James, I know you were loving Palantir. Palantir is worth more than Lockheed Martin right now. Okay. I still want to see this come back here. What metric are you measuring that by? Just market cap? Palantir here, 135 million. Indeed, Lockheed Martin, 134 million. So on a market cap basis, Palantir just eclipsing Lockheed Martin. I know that the future is bright with all of the AI and defense stuff there. we'll see if that ends up materializing. I still, as far as Palantir goes, I'd really, really love for this to kind of pull back. That's what I want more than anything else, because I think that will set up another long side trade. I think that'll set up another long side trade here. Okay, Whisk, good morning. Did you cover XBP? No, we didn't. Let me add that here to the list. XBP. We did Broadcom. Let me move over to Grab here real quick. They also reported earnings this morning. Grab shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and raised the fiscal year 25 revenue guidance above estimates. Grab up 6.62% here. You can see a nice little move above 450. You can see this chart has really kind of been trading sideways for a long time. Now we're starting to attack some of these levels that we put in 2002. So I do see a little bit of resistance here right up about 5. I would imagine you'd see a little bit more resistance there at 5. And we do have some kind of a consolidation area here up to 6. So we'll see if that can get rolling here. That's pretty much it on Grab. Let's take a look at the actual number itself. Grab beat on the top and bottom line. GAAP EPS of 1 cent beat the 1 cent loss estimate. So nice to see there. And then sales, 716 million. The estimate was for 691.8 million. So a little bit of a beat there. Looks like they raised guidance, and they now see revenue of 2.76 to 2.78 billion. Prior read here was just 2.7 to 2.75. So it looks like they guided above the top end of the range there. That's always what you want to see. And adjusted EBITDA, 308 million to 313 million. The prior estimate, 250 to 270 on that. So really, really good stuff there on Grab. This is trading higher today. Benchmark also, I missed this one earlier. Benchmark reiterated a buy and maintains a $6 price target. One of the things that we've been seeing recently with some of these stocks, especially when they get coverage or new coverage, especially, they seem to go to the price targets really, really fast. Traditionally, price targets 12 to 18 month projections. If we take a look at Square, this was a really good example from yesterday. Okay, Square still pulling back here by about 2%, currently at 81.5. Yesterday, this did test 83. If we take a look at the news here from yesterday, we actually had, Monday, November 1st, Block shares trading higher after Piper Sandler issued an overweight rating, so initiated coverage with an overweight rating and announced a price target of $83. Looks like we went right to that price target here today. So, or yesterday. Now we're pulling back from that area. You can also see that 83.5 to 84, it looks like this is actually all the way up to 87. This is clearly a resistance area on Block. This actually goes all the way back to 2022. So we'll see here on Block. All right. Let's see. Palantir. We did Grab. We still have Barnes and Noble, which we took a look at yesterday, Nvidia, XBP, and then Amazon. Let's go ahead and move right to Amazon. There we go. So I had actually been talking about Amazon recently. I still left the Fibonacci trend-based extension drawing on here. We can go ahead and cover that too. Keith, though, you were asking thoughts on Amazon. I think the glasses will not work, and they already have a hard time making a battery that would last work shift. So the glasses, which glasses are you referring to? The ones that I have kind of been looking at recently are the Ray-Bans from Meta. Let me know what glasses you're referring to here. Now the battery, I think what you're talking about there is the battery for the forklifts that they use in the warehouses. And I think one of the things that you're saying here, they're having a hard time making the battery that would last a full work shift. Those batteries are replaceable though, right? Can't you swap those batteries? Forgive me, I've never worked in the Amazon warehouse, but I feel like that isn't a terribly big deal. Keith, you're mentioning for the delivery drivers. Now I do see those Amazon electric trucks all over the place. So that's interesting. I think that what they would need to do, at least in the meantime, just have some more trucks. It doesn't really seem all that difficult to do. Stay focused. Amazon will be building glasses for the delivery drivers. So I haven't seen that yet. What types of stats and information do the drivers get from that? Is it just like map, almost like a heads up display in the glasses, letting them know what package to drop off? I mean, it sounds pretty sweet. I suspect that the way we're going here, we're going to have like a team of cyborgs delivering our packages pretty soon. Not sure how I feel about that. We'll see. We'll see what happens when that materializes. They're making glasses for the delivery drivers that assist the last few steps of packages. So, okay. I'm not. Let me ask you, what does that do for? How does that actually speed it up? Right? How does that speed up delivery? How does that make it better? What's the bull case there for the glasses? Really interesting. As far as the chart goes here, as far as the levels go, I know we're kind of sitting here about 208 after this impulse move. This is great. Not only are we not breaking down, but we're giving time for the RSI to kind of catch up with this. 211 is going to be that level that it found resistance at. I really think 200 is going to be a support level if it trades back down another 8 points. Level above this, I have at 225. Level above that is 245. So I'm going to leave this drawing on here just to see if we play around or if we attack some of these levels going forward. Okay. Maps of the road to cut down delivery time. How does that actually make it better though? I mean, they still have like GPS in the truck. Yorkie saying, I think it's AR glasses to highlight package for the driver so they don't have to look at the sheet and match the item number. This makes more sense to me, right? Like it's just showing them in the truck which package to grab. Just to kind of speed up the time of, I will say, like when the Amazon driver stops here, the biggest time sink that I see the driver have is fishing the packages out of the back of the truck and then getting the correct packages ready to drop off. So this makes a lot of sense if you're able to kind of make the efficiency better with those glasses. That would be excellent. That would be excellent. So, okay. Let's see, still no Scott yet. I wonder if there's an issue with him. Let me go ahead and see if we can get 13 on here. We'll go ahead and break down some more of your stocks. Cuts off seconds and the seconds add up is their reasoning. That I can see. That I totally get it. I mean, if you're dropping off 100 packages a day and you can cut off 3 seconds per package, that's, several minutes a day that you can kind of trim. And I would imagine that the more you do that, the more efficient you become at that. Okay. James says, I have a new home office desk being delivered today. I feel bad for the delivery guy. James, pro tip here. Number one, you could always offer him a drink of water and see if you can help him. Up to you. Is that a sit stand desk? Let me know. Exciting times there for the home office though. All right. Are there any other stocks that you folks want to take a look at? We do have, let me go through the rest of the list here. We already took a look at Grab. Let's do BNet again. I can't believe Barnes & Noble is making the rounds here. Did not have this on my bingo card when the week started. Yesterday, we had kind of a trade up here on Barnes & Noble. Today, it looks like we're just kind of going back down, right? So let's take a look inside and see what happened here. It looks like yesterday we kind of regress back to the mean. Looks like it's holding here. This level is really what I want to see hold right in here. We're just beneath it. We're right at 1150, but honestly, 1160, we really want to kind of hold that level. See if we can trade back up here on Barnes & Noble. What's the short interest on this? Short interest a little bit higher, but not crazy. And were the insiders doing anything here? No, nothing really on the insiders. Buys back in the summer, but not a whole lot for there. I'll be honest with you. Whoever suggested this, I think was it 3D. Don't really kind of have a line here on Barnes & Noble. Not a business that I would be investing in for the long term. That's for sure. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. We briefly talked about semiconductors earlier when we were talking about Taiwan Semiconductor. 13, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. Bang, we will bring on 13. 13, good morning. How you doing here today?
I was good until I saw something start to move that I thought I had a little bit more time to research before we started digging into it. You remember how I've been talking about space plays?
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to move. I don't want to miss the boat on this. One of the ones that I was watching that's on my list that I shared with you yesterday, SIDU. We can get into that after you're done with NVIDIA, but That's what I'm going to be doing today. Is a lot of research.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about, let's give your sector thesis on that, right? One of the sectors that I actually already have in focus here today is going to be tech. We're seeing, I just want to see how the post-election trade shapes up, right? We're starting to see some market breadth broadening. We've talked a lot on Happy Hour how we really want to see some of these high-flying big cap tech names really kind of have people file out of them and then go to other parts of the market. I want to see valuation expansion continue. And I'm just not sure that big cap tech is going to be that sector that does it. So I kind of want to watch that sector. I want to see how it responds. I want to see if it looks like any buyers are leaving. And then I want to watch for the earnings growth story in other sectors because those are likely to drive returns. So we'll go ahead and do, maybe space is one of those 13. Maybe that's one to take a look at. As far as the NVIDIA chart here, I think all you folks did was suggest NVIDIA. I don't think I had any other context with that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at a chart 13. I'd love to get your opinion on the chart as well. NVIDIA, what else do we need to say here, right? The Blackwell chips, AI, the whole thing here. Jensen loves to pump his own stock. The CEO, Jensen Huang, loves to pump his own stock. This thing's been absolute rager for the past couple of years. We actually recently just broke out of this top here, setting some new all-time highs. We'll see where we go from here. The big thing is going to be the earnings report. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we kind of traded around in a little bit of a range. Traded sideways here for the next week. We actually have these earnings a week from tomorrow after the market closes. So Wednesday, November 20th, after the market closes is when you're going to get that NVIDIA report. Wouldn't be shocked if it just traded sideways until then. You got any thoughts here on NVIDIA?
It's all about how they guide. That's it.
Yep, and that's actually what we're seeing in some of the other stocks that are reporting right now, right? If they guide well, stock does well. If they miss or guide poorly, stock gets creamed. And if that happens on NVIDIA, look out.
So I was reading some interesting news between NVIDIA and SMCI, which I still think is going much lower, by the way. They had to divert some. NVIDIA had to divert some shipments going to SMCI to another client. So we're starting to see some of the SMCI clients start to cancel orders, go elsewhere, and that could. I'm not thinking that's going to really cause a whole lot of headaches for NVIDIA, but it's just a little bit of a shift in the way that they're getting their chips out, and I think that's just really, really bad news for SMCI. We're still looking for this to go down underneath 20, so still thinking we're heading there.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, this has been one of the stories of the year, hasn't it? Huge run at the beginning of the year. Short report accounting issues. We've pretty much round tripped the entire move. Let's see if we break beneath 20. Let me ask you, if we do prints 15 to 17, are you taking a stab at it?
I'm not interested. There's other plays out there.
There you go. That says it all. 13, very succinct. Okay.
It might be a good play. I don't care. It just don't care. The accounting issues are just a very big red flag, bright red flag to just stay away from this company.
Okay. Really good stuff there. 13, really good stuff. All right. Did you want to talk about the space theme that you're thinking about here?
Sure, we can get into it because. And by the way, Joseph, great mention of RTW. That's on my my list as well. They had a good day yesterday, by the way. So the thing with space in these plays that we're talking about, it might be a while out before we start to see revenue from some of these companies. Some of these companies already have revenue because they already are they already have products in space. But when we have Elon Musk and his courtship of the Trump presidency in the same hand, and we also have Starship with their successful tests, one after the not one after the other, but increasingly better. We're getting to the point where commercialization of space is right around the corner, and we're going to start. I think we're going to start seeing the hype around those prospects of space commercialization. We saw some of those with the some SPACs back in 2021. Nothing really ever came out of those things. I think they may all be gone at this point. But now it's interesting because have the capability to launch a space vehicle with the internal capacity that's about the same as the International Space Station. And I don't think most people understand how big of a deal that is, but this is huge. And the fact that we are able to put so much into space and get these large crafts, much larger crafts out there, we're going to start seeing larger space stations. We're going to start seeing intercelestial body traveling. The one thing that we need to get over, that this is going to be the very big piece of the puzzle, is orbital refueling, and that's going to be one of these future flight tests for Starship is going to attempt to do. We're going to attempt to do refueling in space, and once we do that, then we can talk about all these different moon missions, Mars missions. Not really interested in any of those right now. I just want to see the commercialization of space. And so far this morning, we have one name that's on my list that is actually moving off of some such news. That would be XIII. They just announced that they got I think there's a contract to bring the first data center into space for data storage for Lone Star. So right off the bat, this one popped like 20%. It's come back in since then, but I don't think we're quite done here. I'm not referring to today, but we're not quite done here with this company. I think we're going to see more out of this company. We're going to see more out of a lot of these other companies. They're very heavily shorted. This one in particular, 12.3%, has almost 3 days of covers, but still, we're seeing a lot of short interest in these names. I think we're going to see some pretty good movement. I just want to try to find the best ones. That's what I'm going to be doing research on, is trying to find the ones that are the most likely to be tapped for future space projects and commercialization. There are already some that already have products in space, like I said, and we can get into those. But I think this is going to be a future theme worth watching and worth paying attention to, because there's not a lot of attention on it right now.
Okay, real good stuff. So it seems like you're kind of early on this.
Yes,
being early might not necessarily be a bad idea. I mean, didn't we just kind of see a lot of opportunities in some of the small nuclear reactor stocks? And we've talked a lot about being really early in that theme as well. I mean, it's going to take 5 to 10 years to get some of these things up before they can actually produce power for. So I think this is good, and I think that you actually might be able to get multiple opportunities depending on how long the runway is for this. Did you want to go through that list of other stocks here? Did you want to take a look here at SIDU in any more depth?
We can look at the list that I have. Also, it's worth mentioning that space is going to be a very competitive space. We're not the only country that wants to. We're not the only country that wants to be up there. And as soon as we're able to have Starship fly more regularly, I think you're going to see a lot of other countries wanting to put their satellites and infrastructure and other craft up there as well. So very, very big opportunity here with space that I think is coming. Let me get this list for you. So here,
and actually, sorry, just kind of looking at RDW here, which is Redwire Corporation. This was suggested by Joseph here in the chat. For one of these stocks, really not even terrible. We were just talking about how some stocks that are really trading higher here are very expensive. This one, market cap of 690 million, revenue of 78 million, much cheaper than the tech stock we just took a look at as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there. Stay focused, saying 13 and Ryan, I like IRDM. That's Iridium Communications here. But some of their residual business competes with Starlink. Okay. So you think that might be trouble if they're competing with Starlink here. This chart actually doesn't look bad either. Love that this has come up off the bottom, and love that this is still above the moving averages there.
Sorry, I just tried to post my list and it combined every single.
It didn't give you any spaces. That's some string. Fairchild bringing it out. There you go. Okay.
And that PLRDW, that should be PL and then RDW. I missed that one. Yes, that was some string. Sorry. But so we know some of these. We know ASTS. We know Lunar, RocketWire. I'm sorry, Redwire was the one that Joseph was mentioning. We know Rocket Lab. I'm sure some of you are familiar with UFO. That's actually the ETF that holds some of these. Virgin Galactic, familiar with that one? That's SPCE. We saw that one run. They make that little that spacecraft that disengages from the airplane and then shoots off into space. Trimble. This one, if I recall from memory correctly, that is the one from Canada that makes the robotic arm that you see in spacecraft like the space shuttle, and you also see them on the International Space Station. So that company, they actually do have a product that's in space. I should add probably Cooler to this one as well, since they have products in space. But it's it's one of those junkier names. I need to go through some more and research some more of these. I had some notes on this that I don't have in front of me. Yeah, IRDM, that's another one that I think that we just got mentioned from Stay Focused.
Yep.
So there's a good number of plays here. Some that haven't, that have started to curl and already are curling as a result of Trump and Musk. But I still think that we still have an opportunity to get into some of these and just kind of hold them while they get more attention. So that's what I'm going to be doing today is looking at some of these more closely, seeing which ones I think have the most meat on the bones, and has the best story. So that's what I'll be looking at today, because I don't want to miss out. I see SIDU already starting to move. We saw RDW space. A lot of these started to move.
Rocket Lab. I mean, look at Rocket Lab. Just since October, this thing's been a monster.
And okay, so I got to address this because this is also true. Nicholas,
I was just getting set up to do this.
Yeah, so Nicholas, there are some these other really big names, and Boeing, yes, one of them. You could also throw in Lockheed Martin, GE. You can throw in Northrop. They all have different space plays, and it's some of them it's going to be for Space Force. So you're absolutely correct in that. Those names, though, I kind of take a different approach to, because they are defense names. They're in a different in different areas besides space. I'm looking at more of the pure space plays, and that's what this list is for. But you're right, Boeing and all those other ones are on there. Actually, Boeing might actually be selling their space business, so they might not be there anymore.
Yeah. And Chris, I love how much you're already thinking ahead. This is exactly some of the stuff that we cover on a regular basis in Happy Hour. Shout out to Benzinga Pro and the Benzinga Pro community. If you're not a part of it, what are you doing? You can actually try it for free. Big B saying we'll have to chat in Happy Hour, see if any of these are at risk for an equity ask. I would imagine the business of space is not a cheap one. No. And
but it's getting cheaper.
You're probably going to need that. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's getting cheaper thanks to Elon.
Yeah.
And his whole team there.
Gosh, it's almost like if you bring the private sector into things, you can make it more efficient. Who would have thought? JK. All right. I do have Wiss, if you're still out there, you had asked about XBP. Did you have any other space stocks that you wanted to go over? Do we want to take a look at the charts and kind of set up for any of those?
I mean, that's a lot to go through in the time that we have.
We don't have to.
I would just say let me do some research so I can narrow down the ones that I think are really, really good, because this list I think is a little padded, and I want to kind of chip away at some of the ones that I don't think are going to do as well or have already run. So let me do some research.
Yeah, we can refine that while we're off camera here, and then bring the content back. We could also see if any of these start to move. One of the other things that I'll do, 13, is I know some of those stocks that you listed in your list there, trade options. That also might be something to watch here, see if there's really kind of any types of unusually large options, especially if they're leaps. Maybe there's something that's kind of being expected there, but that would be some other way that we can kind of monitor the sector. So really good stuff there. Go ahead and yeah.
And you guys, you have the list that I put together. So if you feel compelled to research any of that on your own, you go for it. Do whatever you want. You have the list. So hopefully it's helpful for you.
Okay. Really, really good stuff there. I love how 13. I love how you just showed up with gifts for people. It's like it's like you're really kind of kicking off the holiday season in the right way here. It's like you just show up here's a theme that I'm thinking about. Here are a bunch of stocks there. Let's add to those too.
It wasn't like that this morning. I saw SIDU starting to run, and I let out an array of explicitives, and And then I decided I need to get on here and start talking about this before we miss the boat on space plays. So
okay. Awesome. Jay Summers said, like the microwave, in use for about 20 years before becoming commercially available, developed by an engineer at Raytheon. Interesting. Okay. XBP, this Wiss, you had brought this up earlier here. XBP, no experience with this. XBP Europe Holdings. Sorry, this is a pan-European integrator of bills, payments, and related solutions and services seeking to enable digital transformation. Provides business process management solutions with proprietary software suites and deep domain exercise, serving as a technology and operating partner for its clients. Okay.
Moving on buzzword.
Yeah. Well, that's just the company description here. Did we?
No, it's moving on buzzword. You'll see. Read the headline. You'll see.
Well, just read the headline for me. Europe, XBP Europe holding shares are trading higher after, what is that? Richter announced the availability of SEC AI on Oracle Cloud infrastructure in the Oracle Cloud marketplace. This was after hours yesterday. Mm-hmm. So the stock's, I guess, up here 78%. Stock's just what? I mean, this was a penny stock. This was a penny stock yesterday. So obviously the first thing that I'm looking at here are going to be the financials. This does have some cash. It doesn't really burn a whole lot of cash, so it might not need an equity raise, at least in the near future here. See a lot of open market buying on this. How's the short interest? It's there, but it's not huge. Mm-hmm. So maybe this one in play here for a day trade here today.
Yes. Absolutely. It's got a low float, 1.9 million shares. It's moving on an AI, the ability to offer AI to its clients through Oracle Cloud infrastructure, 3 to 4 quarters of cash. It's probably going to move a little bit today. So we'll just try to capture that movement. And by the way, Nicholas Lavelle, the ETF is UFO.
That might be one of my favorite tickers for an ETF. Just kind of always been interested in that as a kid. XBP here, 140 going to be the downside level if that can hold. I would probably just kind of wait this one out if that breaks, and then if we can get back to where we closed yesterday, or where the after hours closed yesterday, I beg your pardon. It's about 195 here, so maybe 195 and 2 potential tests there. Okay, that takes care of the whole list. If you folks have any other stocks that you'd like to take a look at, we can go ahead and do that. But before we do that, I think we should run through the movers.
Did you? Okay, because XBP was one of the movers. Did you go over BTCT?
No, we did not. So this is a perfect segue. Is that also off the movers list?
That's where I got it.
Boom. Well, that segue is about as good as it gets here. So looking at the movers list here, BTCT, ticker BTCT, going to be at the top of the list. This is BTC Digital. You know, one of the things that we did talk about earlier, 13, was what we talked about on Happy Hour yesterday, the huge move in Bitcoin. I actually saw that cross 90,000 on the Bitcoin futures chart here this morning. 90,725 was the high print there. Bitcoin absolutely rocking. It's pulled off that high level, but hasn't broken down. And the other thing that we were mentioning here is what we were discussing yesterday with Tesla, as Tesla, still holds Bitcoin, and the price of Tesla might also have some exposure to those Bitcoin movements. No surprise here. All of that stuff has pretty much been moving in unison since the election has taken place. So we'll see if we get any more movement on that. Anyway, though, BTCT here. This up 88%. Did we have any news on this one?
It's relative volume.
Nope. So yes, it looks like just kind of a technical play here. Short interest, really nothing there. Nothing on insiders. Let's see how the financials are looking here. Looks like it's making money. Got very little on the balance sheet. So we'll see here. This nice little move though, off that 250 level. Looks like it's finding some resistance here at 5 in the pre-market. Volume really looks good here. We'd really like to see maybe some more of this volume expansion. If this can hold and not break down through the VWAP, this actually looks pretty good here today. I've been watching for a 5 breakout here, BTCT. 13, what did you have on this one? This looks like this float really kind of fits into what we're looking for on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's very little to this one. The only thing I could really find that was of any interest was the fact that it's moving on relative volume, has a low float of 2.59 million shares, and it needs cash. That's about it. No splits, no short interest of really any significance. So yeah, this is basically just a relative volume play. Moves with Bitcoin, and if we can trade it, great. But it's only going to be a day trade and nothing else.
Okay. There you go. BTCT. So our top two movers already covered here. I'm going to be watching that 5 level right out of the open here. Here is XBP again. We kind of already talked about this. Great to see this really just kind of chilling at VWAP here. TSHA, we affectionately call this Tisha. We've traded this one a lot recently. This is a Taysha Gene Therapies here. Taysha Gene Therapy shares trading higher. Needham reiterated a buy on the stock, and Cantor reiterated an overweight rating. We also have earnings scheduled for tomorrow after the market close. So Tisha here setting up 220 here. I'll tell you what, I actually do think that this could really get some juice if this breaks 220. Looks like we did dip a little bit here in the pre-market. Buyers bought that right back. We take a look at the daily chart here. You can see the stock's fairly depressed, but has really kind of held the bottom here. So it'll be interesting to see if this gets rolling. This could be in play here today. The big thing that I want to see for a potential day trade is going to be more volume. The first two that we've covered here off the movers list, flashing a ton of volume here in the pre-market. That should be really good for a potential day trade. But Tisha here, TSHA, doesn't have a whole lot of volume.
Yeah. Here's the things that I like and dislike about it. We've been seeing how we get these price targets, and then the stock will try and trade up to that price target that same day. Sometimes it makes it, sometimes it doesn't. Getting a $6 and $7 price target ahead of their earnings, that's helpful for that type of trade, but it's got a very large float, and I have concerns that we're seeing this movement only because of the short interest. I think this is a little bit of a squeeze here, and I don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully, it lasts longer than the open. But with the 11% of the float shorted, 11 days to cover, and then you have a 155 million share float, I just have concerns that we're not going to be able to push all the way up to that $6 to $7 range. Could, but I don't know that we will. And also, we might see this leak throughout the day because the float's so much heavier than what we're used to trading with these movers. So just a little bit of caution on this one. We might see this pop here and there, but like I usually say with these large float ones, be careful because that is a lot of supply to move.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Bonjour, Smoke Tuna. I love this. I love that we're just in the habit of saying bonjour every day when Smoke Tuna joins. Just really, really awesome. All right, let me keep moving here. We actually already covered Shop. This is Shopify. They reported earnings, beat on the top and the bottom line. Some really good stats there. For any of you that might be joining late here on Shopify, I'll just kind of recap what I had said earlier here. Top and bottom line beat, revenue growth mid to high 20% year over year. It's a good print there. We just recently, if you take a look at the daily chart here, we just recently had the $100 level breakout, and we're at a former support from 2021. So if you look back here, this was former resistance and then support. It should act as resistance again. Let's see if we can actually get through here on Shop. It does look like our traders are out here gunslinging. Robert playing Shop for earnings, looking good right now. Yeah, I'd say, boss, let me know what you close those at here, or at least some of them. You are definitely owed a register ring. One more thing here. We didn't cover this. Jonathan Cooper, I blame myself for that. Normally I cover this whenever we come across it. BTCT, a China company. Be careful. We've actually seen some of these China names get hit recently, but the one other thing to keep in mind here, China recently did a stimulus package, and they might be doing more in the near future. So that actually might affect some of these Chinese micro caps. Keep that under your head as well.
It's interesting because, so this must be Chinese owned because this company is actually based in the US because China doesn't allow crypto mining. And the description also says that it's based in the US as well. So yes, It's still.
So Jonathan, what is the China connection? Just China owned, operating in the U.S. like 13 is suggesting?
Yeah, I think they're just the owners of this company, but they're the headquarter. It's headquartered and based in the U.S. And I think that's primarily because China does not allow crypto mining.
Okay.
Yes, correct. CPI report tomorrow. That's correct. Yep.
Do you want to preview that here? Let's finish. We're kind of jumping. We've got plenty of time here. We got 27 minutes, or excuse me, 17 minutes. Well, maybe we have less time than I thought, 13. But let's go ahead and let's rock through some of these movers here, and then we can actually preview that CPI print here tomorrow. EVgo, this is another one here that is gap. This is up 20% here today. EVgo shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and raised its fiscal year 24 revenue guidance. Again, beat on the top and the bottom line, looking pretty good there. Was there anything else in here? Nope, that pretty much covers it. So EVgo here up 20%. I know that this has been another kind of a popular is the word I want to use here. We trade this frequently. There are a number of people in the trading rooms that trade this one. We are short of 7 here, a little bit of consolidation area in the 680 area, also 7. We'll see if we can end up getting up there. Quick check on the short interest here. 32.64% of the float shorted with 6.62 days to cover. If this continues to move, it definitely has some squeeze potential. Looking at the float here, this is one of those thicker trading ones, though. 100 million shares in the float. If it's really going to have an outsized move, it's probably going to need to have some of that squeezing action there. So
that's
it. Anything else on this one?
Nope. Just like that last one that had the 155 million share float, I think the same thing applies to EVGO. It's going to, all the movement is going to be from the squeeze and the earnings. But, once that's, starts to lose steam, that heavy supply is going to come in and it's going to weigh down on the price. So I don't think we want to stay in these for too long because that float is just a little bit too big for my liking. So we get the movement. Let's thank our heavenly stars and move on.
All right. Here's another one that we've traded a whole bunch here. This is GeoVax Labs. This had big volume expansion intraday yesterday, actually continued higher here into the after hours. We do have earnings tonight. All right. So do have some earnings here tonight. Looks like yesterday, Alliance Global Partners initiated coverage on GeoVax Lab. And that was in the morning here. Buy rating, price target of 15. Stock is 355 with earnings tonight. How about that? Let's see, what else did we have here?
I wrote that one down, Jonathan. We will get to that.
So there you go. GOVX, this one likely to be in play here today. I'm curious to see how this does here. Up 12% here today. Okay, did you want to go? I guess Workhorse is still on here. That's trading up. That's got earnings in a couple of days. C shares trading higher after company reported better than expected EPS here. This up 14% on ticker SE. Did you have any of these on your list, or should we just go over to LGMK?
No, I only had XBP, BT, CT, and EVGO.
Okay, and we covered all of those there. Honeywell also looks like it's trading up here on earnings. Laser, LAZR. I believe this has workings with Tesla, if I'm not mistaken. That is also up here. That also might be feeling the Tesla Elon Trump bump from the recent election here. And then let's see, we talked a little bit about Workhorse. Didn't see any news on this, but this is up 13.5% here today. Okay, let's go ahead. LGMK. Logic Mark. This is a penny stock. Boy, I tell you what, you boys better have something good on this for us covering this penny stock.
Well, he wanted to look at it because of the high short interest, which is going to be 33.27%. It does have 1 day to cover, so I'm curious if this is a recent reverse split. Let's take a look. Looks like no, they reverse split back in 2023. So just a large short interest on a very low float, 3.8 million shares. Let me take a look at the cash. Looks like they are going to need to raise it at some point. And this is a medical device company, it seems. They provide personal emergency response systems. Is this like Life Alert? Is that what they do? Is this the Life Alert company? I'm just kind of curious if that's what this is, or if it's something like that.
Yeah, I think it's something like it. I don't think it's the same one. Internet of Things technology.
So this could, it could be an interesting squeeze. I mean, it looks like it's squeezing, this morning a little bit here. It is a penny stock. I already have there's already a feeling I have about these, but let's look at this as a trade. I already know that kind of the medical side of things is kind of taking a hit from the Trump win, when we have RFK coming in to, I guess we'll call it, shake things up a little bit in that field. I don't necessarily think that applies to this being a medical device company.
Neither do I.
But I think it might get a pull down from the entire sector because of that theme. But let's take a look at the chart and see if we can figure out where there'd be some good entries. So it looks like when we popped this morning, we ran all the way up to 23 cents, and it looks like we're trying to get back up there to break over that. So right off the bat here in the pre-market, it looks like we're trying to recapture 23 cents. And if that gets recaptured and we start moving, we will be, oh wow, we're really high up there. I'd be looking for the price to see if it can run to 31 cents. There's a gap.
Smoke Tuna giving us some boots on the ground intel here. LGMK does not have a great product.
Okay.
So there you go. You know what? Honestly, for a trade here today, I'm probably going to pass on this one. I'm going to stay away from the penny stock, especially with the environment that we see ourselves in here. Mind if did you have anything else? Can I move on from this one?
Well, Jonathan did print the news why it's moving in the chat here. So they did partner with to expand government sales. So that could be good for the company, because that government money, can't go wrong with that. But it's still a penny stock. It's still going to need cash. I feel like they'll do a raise at some point. I don't think they're going to need to reverse split unless they offer like a huge amount of shares when they do that cash raise, or if they find a partner. I don't know. But for me, we have a little bit of a squeeze. We have a catalyst. I don't know how high it's going to go. I give you one level, 31 cents. The other one, I would just be looking at that gap to fill that was created in August. And that gap is from 35 cents to 45 cents, so another 10 cents there. But I don't know if you're going to even get that, but that's about where I would be done if it did go up there.
Okay. Really, really good stuff. Another penny stock that was getting mentioned here. I just kind of want to get it out of the way. Cero Therapeutic Holdings. Looks like this had a decent day yesterday, popped again here in the pre-market. Again, another one of those penny stocks here. Looks like this is just kind of, let's see, Tuesday. Sees significant climb after revealing its ovarian cancer data. I bet that's what we got yesterday. Yep, that is exactly what we got here. So I believe that you're right. Continuation from the positive newsprint that we saw yesterday. Looks like that is continuing here today, up 54% here in the pre-market. Wow. Joseph saying too much manipulation on pennies, in my opinion. Oh, yes. Joseph.
Absolutely.
Preach, brother, preach. This is exactly why I like to avoid these. Just generally don't have good results with these. So
these are day trades. We do not want to own these things. They don't have great balance sheets. They don't trade normally. They're garbage. But you know what? We turn trash into treasure here, so that's what we're going to do.
I love it. That's going to be a theme of what we're doing here. Trash into treasure. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Okay. What other stocks do you folks want to see? Jay Harris, I know that you were asking about the Tesla levels again here today. We seem to talk about Tesla every day here. So Tesla levels are actually still marked off on the chart here. Remember the first one, that purple shaded area that we just blew right through, provided no resistance at all. Next upside level here, 371, 403, and 413. If you back out here, you can see what levels those correspond to. If we continue to sell off, we would like to see a gap filled down here, maybe 321, and then we'll see if we actually catch some support at the top end of this channel at 315. That channel was 3 to 315, that purple shaded area, I should say 3 to 315. So just to recap, Jay Harris, really quickly, downside levels here on Tesla, 336, 320, and then this area from 3 to 315. Upside levels here, 371, 403, and 413. There you
I
go.
wouldn't be surprised if this came in some more today. RSI still elevated over 75 yesterday. The way you can look at this yesterday's candle, it's either a reversal or a continuation. When you get these spinning top dojis like that, they can indicate that we're going higher, or that this is where the price is going to turn around and head down for a time. With the RSI being as elevated as it is, I would not be surprised if we saw 330 or lower today.
There you go. And by the way, the intraday low from yesterday that we've so far tried to hold on to here, 336.13. So maybe we do end up breaking that 330 to the downside here. Okay, really good stuff. Good morning, Market Sniper. Good morning, Crow, Mitch. Oh, man, Ray. Let's go. We got the entire group. Daddy Backstrap, he's back, so you know things are good. You know we're in good shape here.
Let's go.
Next stock on the list here is going to be HIMS, ticker HIMS, and boy, oh boy, has this thing been an absolute monster here. This might have a little bit more upside room, but at some point, this thing's going to need to cool here. RSI at 71. We've had some recent expanding volume here. MACD looking pretty good. Like I said, I'm not sure that we move back in here today. Looks like we are a little bit weaker here in the pre-market. Let's see if we bounce a little bit here from 26. It seems to be a level that we've held on to. This obviously, we talked about the GLP-1 angle on this here. Obviously, hair loss, especially for men, big thing. But HIMS, we'll see if this is rolling here. This has been a really good trade recently. Don't have any position on this, but that's what's going on. I didn't see any fresh news here on this one. Did we have any in that? No. No fresh news here. Friday of last week, we did get a buy and a price target raised to 28 from TD Cowen.
Yeah, the short interest is the highest it's been in over a year, so that might have something to do with the movement. The days to cover isn't up to 5 like we like, or higher like we usually like to see it, but that is the highest the short interest has been in over a year. So I think we are seeing a little bit of some squeezing of the price. Okay.
What other stocks do you folks want to take a look at? Henry saying anything on GME? Did that pop yesterday? I full disclosure, I don't trade GME. Yeah, this actually has had a pretty decent 2 days here. Looks like we sold off in the pre-market. Stocks down 4.4% here, just about 4.5%. I don't see any fresh news on this. This looks to just kind of be the just kind of the crazy meme game. Frankly, I personally stay away from this.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there was any, filing or anything that shows somebody taking a position in this, or maybe this was just mentioned on Reddit or something. That could have been the case, but be careful here because on the daily chart, we are extended. We have a 77 RSI, almost 78, and we are coming up to a previous high from July. That high was 29.27, so didn't get that. Yesterday we got us about $1, $1.50, maybe $1.75 away from that. So could still see that push up to there, but if not, just stay away from it. I really don't know what's causing this to move, but the only thing you can go off with this one at this point is the technicals.
Okay. Really good stuff there on GME. Next stock being mentioned here, Eli Lilly, ticker LLY. This has been another big recent one. This is really good mention here. The last time that we talked about Lilly, we were talking about this really needing to kind of break the 200-day, reclaim it in short order. That looks like that's what we're getting here. If we do reclaim this, we actually have a gap from like 850 all the way up to almost 900. So a pretty decent trade here if Lilly can kind of keep its upward momentum here. RSI, really not even a problem. It does go ex-dividend in 2 days, so maybe it sells off a little here. But Eli Lilly, this is actually a pretty interesting spot. And frankly, close above 833 here. Feel pretty good about this to the long side. You have any thoughts here on Eli Lilly?
Ever since it's dropped beneath 850, it has had a time getting back above there. That's starting with October 30th when it actually gapped down to open beneath the 200 and recaptured it. Couldn't get back above 850. Same thing happened yesterday. Couldn't get back above 850. Next day, lost the 200. And now we are back up trying to reclaim the 200. 2 days into this attempt, not successful yet. Also getting rejected around the 850 level. We're going to need to see not only a break over the 200-day SMA, but I need to see a close over 850 as well. We have the 20-day SMA and the 50-day SMA much further up. Those will be future resistance areas. But for me, getting above that 200-day SMA and then getting above that 850 needs to happen for more upside. Otherwise, I think we head lower.
Okay, there you go. So 850 seems to be a pretty important level for you on Eli Lilly. I can add that here. 833.07, close above, maybe 850 next on a level there. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Okay, next one here was going to be Line from 3D. You want to take a look at Line. And actually, I think this was a stay focused. Yeah, you were mentioning this one here. Okay.
Line Atlas to hit 90K in the pre-market. Or really late
the futures though. The futures though, he might be talking about the Coinbase price, and I don't know if the Coinbase price actually did hit that 90K. This is /BTC from the futures.
Yeah, I was looking at BTC USD. I'm pretty sure that's the spot price for Bitcoin. It hit 90K in the early morning hours.
So here we go. Line, this one at some point, this is going to be a buy, but this thing has just been nothing but weak, just nothing but weakness. And this was an IPO, right? Or a ticker change here. Remind me what happened here, July 25th. I'm pretty sure that this is very much like the NBIS, where it just kind of took over a new ticker there. We'll see. 3D, I'd like to know, you got any spots on this? You got anything that you're looking for here online? We got to be almost ready to open here.
We're about to.
Here we are. Really, really good timing there. Okay, let me flip over to the main workspace. Let's see what we get here in terms of day trading opportunities right out of the open. Looks like the penny stock's the only thing on the scanner so far.
XBP down out of the open.
Let me bring that up here real quick.
That dropped and now it's trying to recover. Looks like $5 even is the big level for BTC. We popped above that to get to 507 in the about half an hour before we opened, but it seems like looking back further in the pre-market, that was the third attempt to get up to 5 and it didn't work out. So be careful around 5 on BTCT.
Okay, XBP, this pulled right down to the pre-market support and held, so far so good. We'll see if we can reclaim the VWAP there. It was BTCT that you were talking about. I'll take a quick look at that chart here. Long as that holds the VWAP and then this 420 area, pretty good. TSHA also from the list. This is trading higher here. This is the one with the pretty big float. So we'll see if this gets rolling.
3D is mentioning IPO.
No. I asked 3D.
Gotcha.
Lineage was an IPO from that July 25th. She's confirming that that's the case.
I was going to say a stock named IPO. That's not confusing at all.
No, not at all. Not at all, dude.
All right. So XBP and BTCT still lower. What's that other one? Let's see here how that's looking. EV Go, this thing's whipping around, but kind of still right about where it opened. Looks like we're getting some weakness in the broader market. Stocks may cool as Trump wind-fueled rally nears potential pause amid profit taking. Says investment bank.
Workhorse here. This is a pop right out of the open, right to 150, and just kind of holding there. SE, this is one of the earnings winners. This continuing to move here.
I'm surprised that Workhorse is still a company.
Stranger things have happened before, have they not? Tesla here. dropping out of the open. Again, we're right at yesterday's intraday low, pre-market low here. Let's see if it holds 330. Foxo, you guys are still just on penny stocks, it seems.
Foxo was having some pretty good movement this morning, but we already know about that.
You know what? This is actually jumping out of penny territory, so apologize. New highs here.
Okay, I need to find some more things. LMK, or I'm sorry, LGMK. That one got our move up through the 23 cent level, and we got as high as. Hold on, let me take a look here on a better chart. See if we're hitting those levels I mentioned. Come on, that's not the right chart. All right. Let's see. I think I said.
Genie, this had a buy rating. Interesting. In sports, ticker GENI, buy rating. This going. Is this halted? No. No, definitely not. CT still holding that VWAP.
Okay. I feel like I have to zoom in on this microscopic movement here, but all right. So let's see. We're looking for 31 in LGMK next, and if we go any higher than that, we were looking for 45. There's that. All right. WX long.
This GOEV GovX. Let's check that out. This actually is pretty interesting here too. This right near the pre-market low.
Does this open feel a little bit muted to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Very, very. Gosh, that open in SPY it's going nowhere. All right. Looks like BTCT is trying to get back above VWAP. So keep an eye on that one. EVGO, this one was awful. It just went straight down to that consolidation before 8. None of these looking really palatable. Bitcoin still hanging in the 85K handle. Is there Fed talk at 10? I will find out for you, hustle and bustle. We have Fed Waller and Barkin that are supposed to be speaking.
Boom.
And then later today, 2, Kashkari is supposed to speak.
NNE, big pop here out of the gate.
Nano nuclear energy. No problem. All right, BTCT, here we go. Trying to go higher. Let's see what we get. Trying to push into trying to get up into the 5 area again. This is where we were running into that resistance.
Just pulled back down to the VWAP.
Yep.
And breaking through the VWAP.
It's been getting it's been kind of in this channel that the pre-market created, and that channel is kind of let's see, it's between like 410 and 5.
Yeah, the stop spot here is still 420 to me.
LIC moving. Says Izzy.
Oh, level to watch. LAC, we have that's been moving. Let's see where that's at. I'll come back to BC. ETCT. Boy, I'm going to screw that up several times today. 13. LAC, this is actually a really decent move. This has kind of been muted recently, but this not bad.
ALB has been had a good day yesterday too. That popped over 100 and the 200-day SMA. This is the lithium play that I like, and I got into this this lithium play, and I think lithium may start doing better as there's a consensus that global prices for lithium have bottomed or are near bottoming. So, and we still have battery demand. There was a lot of lithium production cuts in China, and then I think there was one major acquisition that also happened from an American company. I really wish I could remember the name, but that's it. And I think that's one of a couple of the reasons why we were seeing such weakness in the lithium market. Also, demand.
Raj asking which stock for lithium. That's ticker LAC. LAC. That's the one that Izzy is mentioning here. BTCT here. We are at that low. This thing is about to crack here. 420, that spot to watch. Maybe it bounces from here. Glenn mentioning that OKLO is setting up.
Yeah, as long as the AI trade is on, I'm sure that these nuclear trades are going to continue to be on as well. I just don't like how Oklo's daily chart looks with these the topping out here around 2750 a couple of days. One day was the 30th of October. The other was last Friday on the 8th. It looks like 2750 is the level to get over and hold over.
Jaskil, just so we're clear here, we're actually talking about a different stock. BTCT. Bravo Tango Charlie Tango, not BTBT.
Yeah, but BTBT is also.
This is what we're watching. BTCT.
All right, EVGO, all the way down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, getting some support, trying to turn around. See if that's what we get. XBP, this one's lower. Basically, all the names we were looking at this morning just weakness out of the gate, so they might need some time to turn around here. I am seeing a lot of red names across the list. FOXO still the one good one here. That got as high as 118, pulling back a little bit, but still holding VWAP. NUWE, that one's popping as well, slowly, but it's moving. We are actually about to get to 215, which is the after hours high in this one yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, PLL is another one, good one to mention. That one's a little bit further behind in terms of lithium extraction, I think, though. SMCI, let's go. Is that turning around? I do not want to touch this thing. Doesn't look like it's doing anything except going lower. It's still lower than, I mean, it may be going up in the regular session, but it's still lower compared to yesterday. LGMK going. SG ripping. TEM. BTCT. This thing
is gone. That did not work. BTCT. So when we first took a look at that, that kind of faked one of the moves higher here, just broke down, lost that support. No good there.
Let's see if it's going to use the 65 EMA to turn around. That's right about where it is now.
Okay. Here, I can actually turn that one on here. I'm going to wait 60. Oh, but you're on the 5.
Yes, on the 5 minute.
Now I'll actually just leave it on the 5 there. See if we get some support there, 411. And then if we do get some support there, so well, let me ask you, when you're dealing with the 65 EMA here, when it does find support, is there another level on like a reversal that kind of confirms it for you? So for example, if this held here, bounced and reclaimed the VWAP, would that be, would you feel more strongly about a potential day trade there?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I would.
Sweet.
Just want to see that reversal and, it's still close above it. Then I'd be a little bit more confident, but so far it hasn't done that yet.
How is ACHR here doing today? I know you guys are mentioning that in the chat.
Not having the same movement it had yesterday.
It doesn't have the same volume, at least not yet. But look at this, man. We are butting up against this level here. Watch for this to break out here. Archer, I'll tell you what, 13, if this breaks yesterday's intraday high, we might go higher here on Archer.
Yeah, that 460 level looks to be the spot.
Jenks mentioning Shop, new high a day. So Shop post earnings here. Looks like that is continuing higher here. Look at that. Nice move in the pre-market and another leg higher here. Google pushing out of the gate here. We talked about Google levels here. The level that we really want to see fall here. Let me get that exact number for you. For whatever reason, I can't do it. 183.79 here on Google. Watch that. Smoke Tuna mentioning Tisha, TSHA. That was one off of our list earlier. That just reclaimed the VWAP. Here, let me go to the 5 minute. You can see where that 65 EMA is here on TSHA.
And what's going on with these other ones? Looks like GOVX still trying to turn around and get back up to 375. 375 is the level I think to get over for GOVX. Once we do, 425 will be the breakout level. That was the high in pre-market.
Okay, sorry. Let me bring that up here on the screen for us. GOVX.
ACHR up through 460 on
boom, boom,
but coming right back in.
Google continuing to trade higher here, but we might have a run here.
Archer, I think, needs to really see this volume expand. We need to see over 1 million shares, probably over maybe 2 million shares traded before it's going to break through that 460. Yesterday, when it was trying to push up there, it couldn't get over 460 even after having 1.5 million shares traded. So we need to see some pretty big volume to get through 460, I think.
What's up with Chipotle today? Straight up since open. I did see some news here that they're going to make Scott Boatwright the CEO. So he was currently acting as the interim CEO. Got news yesterday midday. He is going to be the permanent CEO today. Stevens and Company reiterating equal weight on Chipotle. $65 price target. Chipotle plus 2% here today. That's the news. That's the only news that I know that's going on right here with Chipotle. Let me look at that daily chart, see where we're at here.
TSHA, I'm just kind of watching that right now. This one is really trying to get above its VWAP.
I actually have it above its VWAP. I've got its VWAP at 207. I got 221 as the day high, which to me seems like that's also the after hours high from yesterday. That's the spot to watch. And I do see some stock for sale there on the offer as well. Just going to roll through some of the other ones here.
Yeah.
Zero, this is that penny, one of those penny stocks you guys were mentioning. RVNC, this is running here, trading higher here.
Nice.
Jenny also trading higher. GENI.
AUPH seems it wants to close a saucer pattern. Let's take a look at that one. On the daily chart, AUPH looks like it's trying to break out of 875. Golden Cross is in September. It's just trying to work its way through a lot of consolidation. Once it gets through 10, that might see better movement in that, but not sure if we'll get that today. Be careful with this one. Very extended daily RSI is over 76.
TSHA.
Yep, that one's pushing over VWAP finally for me anyway.
Yeah, let's see if we can push up that 220 level. Is going to be the spot to watch there. 13.
All right, here we go with Archer. We're right at that spot that it needs to break out over.
And then here's that trend line that we had going. This went back to what? December of last year. Man, I'd love get me over this trend line. That would be so awesome. It'd be so awesome.
Jonathan, it does seem a little bit like that. TSHA going?
Yep. It's only up a couple of cents here. It looks like it's trying to go, though. Again, that 220 spot seems to be what we're looking for.
Yeah, 221. So that price was hit in the after hours yesterday. That was the high. That was also the high out of the open here, 221.
Yep.
So that needs to be the spot to take out. Otherwise, that's the triple top resistance area. And
they brought in a bid right here at 212.13. Google continuing to push higher, by the way. We just talked about that potential breakout spot, GOOG, 183.23. The high that we actually had, 183.79. We are right there on Google. This continuing to move as well.
We're going to see 200 in Google. All right. TSHA getting pretty close. And ACHR new high is 464.
You said ACHR, huh? Archer?
RVPH, Crow's watching. I don't like those
RVPH, excuse me. It's my own fault. Operator error, as they say.
I mean, it's holding about VWAP, but those wicks, I don't like the way those look.
Man, EVgo gave back all of its earnings pop here from the pre-market.
Yeah, that heavy float, man. That heavy float.
How's DJT doing here?
I saw that was down this morning.
Yep, that is down. That was down in the pre-market and then down again here in the regular session. 31.10, the price point on DJT. Workhorse, this actually doing a decent job holding above its VWAP. TSHA still about 5 cents away.
I don't know what to make of DJT. Let me look at a smaller time frame here.
Andrew, for Google, are you looking at GOOG or GOOGL? Do you have the same ticker pulled up? That would be the first thing to check. Do you have the same ticker pulled up? Price 183.07 right now. Fairchild mentioning Block. We talked about Block. They yesterday got new coverage there and a price target initiation. Block continuing to move higher here, plus 3 points from that. Awesome.
Looks like DJT is going to go lower, maybe under 30. If it can, if it loses 30, it's going under 30.
13, I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
No problem. GOX, 2X levered. That's probably doing really well. GSAT, little pop out of the gate. Let's take a look. See what we're getting with this global star stock. Okay, this one looks like it's trying to set up here. Yesterday, the high was, what is this? Like a 213. We're not too far away from there. As a matter of fact, we almost got to that on that this pop out of the gate this morning. Looks like it's trying to hold this $2 level, and if it does, we can try again for that that high from yesterday. That's what I'd be watching for in GSAT. All right, so TSHA, that one is still trying to grind up to that 221 level. GOBX going down, making new lows of the day at 313. And EVgo, this heavy float one, just looking pretty ugly. Maybe it gets support around 540. Is BTCT turning around? It might be. Archer hit 468.
All right, what'd I miss?
Oh, I was just cycling through some names. I was looking at GSAT. That had a pop, and it's as long as it holds to it, I still think it could get back over that high that it made. It's trying to take out the high from yesterday, which was 213.
Looks like it got some support there for the from the VWAP on the pullback here. See what some of the other traders in my group are trading. Sound, Life W, and Workforce.
I think, Nicholas, when Trump gets on the news, we might see DJT. If he mentions that he's not selling stock, it's always going to move that. I don't know that every news appearance or every appearance on TV is necessarily going to make DJT rip higher. It might make some stocks briefly move, and that could be one of them. But I really don't know. We need to actually kind of see what happens this time around.
Yeah, the other so a couple of things here. So number one, you had mentioned in your comment there regarding DJT news. We're going to have to define that. There has been a ton of stuff that has been reported about him and his administration on news that has turned out to be bullshit. So it really depends on what you're considering news there. 13, your overall point, I think, is really good. Here's the other thing that I want to mention. DJT is likely to become less and less impacted as we start to see the administration talk about other stocks. 13, you've talked a lot about Kodak from the previous administration and how that moved it. One of the discussions we had there on Happy Hour is that Trump, whatever you think about him, is for sure going to be mentioning different businesses, both in positive and negative lights. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see more of a reaction in those individual names, and the reactions in DJT are going to become more and more muted. That would be that would be how I would kind of watch this. We'll see if I'm right about that, but I'm kind of drawn on what we saw from the last time he was in office, and then trying to extrapolate that out here. So we'll see. Just some food for thought there.
Yeah, it was funny too, because as soon as he was elected, guess what moved? Kodak.
Yep. and that's what I mean. I mean, you got the other thing is that he's filling up his administration with more. I want to call them political outsiders, but that might not be the right term. I just think that this is going to affect some individual names some more. And I think the more and more names that start getting talked about, the less and less the impact is going to be seen on ticker DJT. That's my hunch. Call it a hunch. TSHA, whoop, not quite at 220 there. We'll see.
That's the spot.
That is definitely the spot.
BTCT turned around and is hitting VWAP right now. Didn't close over it on the first test. Still up there trying to get past it. So we see some increasing volume. We could get through it and at the very least get back up to 480. Yeah.
I want to see some of this volume expand. I think the volume has really kind of come in from the open there.
It's just got a large bid at 440.
Yeah, that's pushing it up right there. That was a really good call. Okay, TSHA. That's trying. I'll tell you what, though, one thing to keep in mind here, and stuff can change throughout the course of the day. Stuff can especially change considering we're looking at a 1 minute chart here. But this trend right here, we really want to get higher.
That looks like a breakout trend line.
JJ, we're just getting in. What did I miss? You missed the open of the market, dude. Also, 13 announced some big news that you also missed.
What big news? The space place?
I'm just kidding. I was just trying to drive some FOMO here, but you pretty much just took a dump.
Don't scare him. Don't scare him like that.
Look, we got to make sure people are awake. It's early in the morning. Got to have a wake-up call.
Right.
He's a good sport about it.
Oh, wow. The bid at 440 for BTCT expanded 4 times. And we're now getting back up a little bit more here. Watch for BTCT to continue pushing. Getting into some consolidation.
So the interesting part here about this, we did not hold this low. We broke it by 3 cents, 6 cents, and then moved up. So that basically looks like a stop flush to me.
You have your 65 EMA on?
Yes, I do. Let me go to the 5 minute though.
There you go.
Presented without comment, 13.
I think the chart says it all.
Becca says, Ryan, that's what coffee is for. Indeed, but sometimes we got to add an extra little kick there.
I forgot I still had some of that. All right, here we go.
I'm on T. Here we go. BTCT. This is the breakout we were looking for earlier. Is this going to halt?
That's what I'm talking about.
This is going to halt here, 535 if it holds.
Yep. That was a good one. Thank you, 65 EMA. I never doubted you.
Well done. Well done there. Actually, was able to grab a little piece of that. Yeah. So we'll see if this ends up working out.
Nice. I'm glad to see Baiynd. And you know what? You tell those doggos thank you. Good boys.
Hey, and look what we got now. Tisha.
And Tisha. All we had to do was be patient.
All we have to do is be paid. That's patient spelled P-A-Y, by the way. Yeah. Make sure you get yourself paid.
But it is spelled the other way if you're an EVGO.
I don't get the joke there, but I'm sure it was good, though.
You were talking about the patient, like in a hospital.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. EVGO, this thing went right back to the close yesterday. I don't know that this is going to be the spot where it reverses. I mean, it could go lower still, but EVGO has gone right back to the close yesterday. All the movement from pre-market negated. Parker Thinkorswim is still holding BTCT. He's going to play the halts. Get that money, dude.
I grabbed a little piece of that into just shy of the halt there. Let's see, 502 on that move. So we'll see if it opens up and goes down. We'll just kill it. Otherwise, I'm actually hoping for another pop here in Tisha. By the way, actually looking at the level 2 here at Tisha, looks like 228 to 230's got a little bit more size in there. Also, really quickly, I know we got a little distracted there with some of those range break moves that we called, by the way. Google looking pretty good. Still watch that 183.75, 183 3/4 there on Google. We'll see if we break out from that. I'm still keeping another eye on this. And stop me if you've heard this before, but Mullen is on the scanner. Where's Jay Rice when we need him? Mullen here ripping out of the open. Will not be fooled by Mullen.
So TSHA. Okay, there we go.
And now it's really quickly, just FYI, now I'm seeing BT on the scanner. So it's possible that we're going to be going between BTCT and BT. I'm going to do the best I can, 13.
What's Bitcoin doing?
Bitcoin here holding 87,600 on the futures. It is up off the 86,000 lows, but really not raging or anything.
Not yet, but we are bumping up against the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I think, and that's a doorway to some consolidation. We get past that and chew our way up through 88. I think we could see another push up higher.
Sydney mentioning here patience, says Beach Bum Trading on YouTube. Beach Bum is a humongous supporter of Benzinga's Market Edge Live. We'll absolutely do that. Love to hear it, Beach Bum. Hope you're banking today. Hope the beach is treating you well, friend.
Okay, we're getting a little bit more of a push in Bitcoin. Those other names might continue to move.
We'll take a look. Does anyone want to take a look at Mara here?
Getting a mention.
I'm going to roll through some of the Bitcoin names here, unless you've got something you want me to put on screen.
I'm just looking at what the chat's talking about.
Gotcha.
Saying that Zeta Global Holdings is diving down out of the open. They had earnings that were not good, apparently. Let's see here. Got price target raises. What does the earnings say? They raised guidance. I'm not sure why this isn't going higher then.
All these Bitcoin names look like they're kind of curling off of their lows. Doesn't matter if it's MicroStrategy or something like Hut or Mara. They all look like they're curling up off the lows with this move here in Bitcoin, which is also looking like it just printed 88K there on the future. So it looks like we might be trying to retake 88K here.
Okay, so with Zeta, and this is just, I don't know if this is actually what's happening, but this is what I'm seeing. We get all these price targets. It runs up to those price targets in pre-market, and now we're selling off. Is that what you're seeing? Because if you look at a smaller time frame, and you look at the
what I'm seeing here is it looks like they reported earnings yesterday. It looks like they reported pretty decent earnings and then popped in the after hours today. I do see those coverages. Doesn't look like that really did anything here. This was actually lower from yesterday's close here in the pre-market.
The high in after hours was up to almost 46, and we get all these price targets saying that they're at or below where it just ran to. I think that this is a lot of making a
algos
for the exit.
Yeah.
Making a rush for the exit.
43, 42, 42, 43, 45. Those are your price targets that I get right off the news feed there.
Yeah. That's what I think it is. I'm not saying that is the actual reason, but from what I'm seeing.
You're right though, dude. That pop in the after hour. Remember, there's no halts in the after hours or anything like that. Lower we go here today.
Yeah.
Service now calls flowing. Oh, these are small. Never mind. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. There's just no size there. In fact, let me fix that so I don't screw that up again. Actually going to put a size filter on there. Size does matter, as it turns out, especially when it's talking to options.
Thank you, Safe Focus, for mentioning
that. Is on the horn.
That is on the horn. We got those two speakers right now. We have another one coming at 2 p.m.
And look what's happening. SPY right back down to the VWAP.
Okay, so as soon as they're done talking, it'll probably turn around then.
Also, one thing to consider here, Bitcoin did pull off that high that it just printed, so maybe this is also affecting Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. We're still waiting for BTCT to unhalt after its move up to 535, I believe it was halted at.
Tisha, this thing is really starting to move now. The volume hasn't really gotten better, but we're still pushing up. It'd be great if we could see more larger volume moves. These have been, kind of the 500,000 kind. I want to see a 1 million share move that drives this thing up.
Smoke Tuna giving us an indication here. BTCT halt indicating a 590 open. Okay. Google, by the way, went to that 183.50, pulled back. Looks like that's coming back to the VWAP. This would be one to watch here for a potential trade. If you're looking to trade Google here, see what happens at that VWAP when we come in. I've got that at 182.5.
Wild Goat coin?
It's coming from a guy named Tony Montana. So I try to give it some bonus points just for the Scarface reference alone.
Well, hey, if you seem like you know what's going on with Goatcoin much better than I do, so make that money, Tony. It looks like we're actually finally getting a turnaround here from XBP. Watch for this to try and go the way of BTCT.
Good call there.
It's just in the process of recapturing VWAP. MACD is starting to curl. This one, I mean, it could get back up to 140 at the very least if we can get a close over this VWAP. I don't know how much more volume we're going to get. We do have a bid at 129, but it seems to be getting messed with at the moment. Yeah, it does look a little weak, but still seeing some movement. Maybe the volume will start pouring in a little bit. I'm not saying anybody should just jump into this thing now. Might want to see what it does.
Life W had that pop out of the open. News gave it back and is actually beneath the VWAP there. Maybe I'll join WIS here. I did get a little bit of green on the screen, so maybe we'll start scaling into some XBP here.
Yeah, it's probably going to come into some resistance around 140. That's just what my expectation would be. But if we can start chewing through that, and I don't know how long it will take, but there's some pretty good consolidation between 135 and 180.
Okay.
All right. No, that's still halted. GOVX, this one also turning around and making its way to VWAP and now at VWAP. So we're getting a little bit of expansion in this one as well. Tisha got all the way up to 227.
Google, by the way, kind of slowing down here at VWAP. Maybe a potential long trade here on Google.
So do you remember what that spot was that I said for DJT? It was like 30.30. We got as low as 30.20, and now we are turning around and trying to come back up to VWAP. So it seems like the holders do not want this to go beneath 30.30 at the moment.
Okay.
So bought it right back up.
Google coming in a little bit more here. No position yet in Google, but I am watching this.
VIX may reverse.
Yeah, that melted down to 1475 and then popped to 1496. I see exactly what Izzy is talking about. Realistically, 1213 seems to be the bottom level for me in VIX. BT CT open might halt again at 709 if this holds. BT CT.
That's awesome.
That is going to halt
That
again.
is awesome.
Sorry, I didn't bring it on screen here. Here you go. Smoke Tuna, your call there was awesome on the open. Awesome stuff there. Looks like it just kept going. Where did this open at? 590 is what
just like you said.
Just like you said. At least that's what it looks like. Maybe 589. Awesome stuff there, though, on the indication.
Yeah. And remember, this is a junky Chinese stock that well, they're in China, but they have their Bitcoin base that is based in the U.S. This is what we're talking about. These names, you do not want to hold them. Just trade these things. Here we go with XBP trying to push up to 140 now.
I'm on the 5-minute. I've got the 65 EMA at 155 VWAP. Excuse me. VWAP at 155, 65 EMA at 151. Good stuff here, team.
Yeah, this has been a great morning.
Yeah, it sure has. It sure has.
It was a very, very boring and muted open, and we just had to be patient and wait. And now look at this.
I really, and you know what else, 13? So speaking of that, let's talk about that here real quick. The other thing is that I really think that unless you have something very, very specific that you feel real good about, I am extremely convinced that waiting out the first couple of the minutes of the market is the smart move. Look what happened on the SPY. Now, I know we had some Fed talking in there that might have caused this thing to really kind of roll over, but this SPY looked like this was going to start ripping and then bang. If you just wait for that, now here we are. You might have a setup here. So it works on the indices. It works on some of the little names here. I think waiting out that first 5 minutes here is the way to go. Good morning, Jay Rice. There you are. Jay, I've got big news for you. I've been waiting for you all morning to tell you about this. Big news. Mullen is ripping.
You know what else is ripping that I cannot believe? I know.
Oh, I know.
It's going to hit 50.
I mean, look, I wish that I could be sitting here. I wish that I could be sitting here doing a victory lap, the whole 9 yards. But man, oh man, this was a really good trade for me. I made a bunch of money off of this, but I am not in this big move. This big move is the one that we were waiting for.
Yeah, that was a really good comment too. Flight to quality. NVIDIA, Meta, Mullen.
Oh, Jay woke up on the right side of the bed today. We got the jokes flowing. Let's go. Let's go.
Looks like Foxo is trying to make the next move up to try and take out 130. If you guys are playing that one, keep an eye on it. Yeah, very nice morning.
Yeah, sure is. You guys are just, that's the thing. This show, I would not have expected this prior to starting it, but the amount of energy that I'm able to get from the group in the morning, I think it rivals coffee. That is a big statement coming from somebody that's been addicted to coffee since they were 16 years old.
You stay away.
Man,
stay away from my coffee.
What's that?
You stay away from my coffee.
Oh yeah, I got my own, dude. I'm an adult. Smoke Tuna, do we have an indication on BTCT for the second halt? Do you have any indication on that?
Here, let me find some levels here on this one.
I'm all out Tisha, by the way. So that was a green trade there. All out Tisha here for a little bit. This does look like it might try to push higher here, but if this pulls back, that'd be awesome.
Okay. So not sure if it'll do this, but if we do get some crazy move out of the halt with BTCT, I'd be looking at somewhere between like $9.90 and $10.
Okay, Smoke Tuna saying BTCT halt price 850, but it may push lower at the open there. It is halted at 710. So if this opens anywhere near 850, that's going to be another humongous pop. I'll tell you this right now, I do have a little bit of this. If this opens, and I'm up on it, if this opens at 850, I'm all out here. I'll just tell you ahead of time. Okay, all out here, BTCT, if this opens anywhere near 850.
Yeah, I could make some more wild speculations on where this could end up going if it hits 10 and has no chill. It might even see somewhere between 1680 to 17.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be wild, but I don't want to say that's what's going to happen because
of course,
this is a crazy name, and who knows what's going to happen with this. Still seeing that you might get that move in XBP, holding VWAP for the moment, but it's having a hard time going much higher. 140 still looks like the spot that needs to get over.
Crimp Biscuit saying, Ryan, hold one share. Okay, I could probably do that. I can hold one share for you if this pops. I am going to take gains there, though.
Getting a mention that Tesla's down.
Tesla is down here today. Yeah, I can actually bring that up. I think, wasn't there Tesla calls in here? Yep, right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh my gosh! Out of the no, that was pre-market. Never mind. I think I was looking for 330. And that's basically what we got in the pre-market. Still think we might end up heading down to 330.
I'm gonna hijack this here real quick. Hey Bex, do you play pickleball? The Nationals started yesterday in Mesa. I have friends from Connecticut coming to stay with me. They're nationally ranked. That's pretty sweet, Jay Rice. I will say I'm not an avid pickleball player, but it is a ton of fun. I got pickleball courts at my house here. I got my own set. It's fun stuff there. But nationally ranked, boy, you hanging with some big players there.
Yeah, we need to get that.
When you realize you're not listening live, when Ryan says, "Looks like we're getting ready to open here,"
we need to get that clock on the.
Yeah, we're getting that. That was an awesome suggestion from our viewers. We're for sure getting that actually confirmed with Aaron, who does the production stuff.
Yeah, Andrew just mentioned it too. Archer and Izzy did. Archer is now hitting in the it went 471. Sorry, I'll get the words out. 471 after this pop from and getting support from the that trend line that actually provided support after we popped over it. 520 would be my is still my spot with this one. That's I don't know if we'll get it to there today, but 520 I think is where we're going to see the most resistance.
Oh, you guys took an innocent comment about pickleball and you threw a whole bunch of dirt and innuendo on it. But you know what?
Wow,
that's the group that we got here.
No, I'm going to save that one. Thank you, Crimp Biscuit. You are really, really expanding my thoughts on this one. Oh gosh, I'm going to have so much fun talking to friends.
I love how your comment is. You're really expanding my thoughts.
Because I have a cornhole set up in my backyard, so. I don't want to even start talking about it anymore.
Yeah, you guys.
They're going to derail the whole show.
Look. This is what I'm saying. This is why this show will breathe life into you in the morning. And you're right, Fairchild. A little bit of a bonus to get up earlier here today.
Back to reality here. We are seeing Tisha lose everything that she gained this morning.
Thank God I am out of that one already. Took gains on Tisha. What's happening here? Coming all the way back in. Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Whew. Look, the same thing is going to hold true. If you have gains, don't be afraid to take them. If you get a move like this, you might have an opportunity to reload that same position. Yeah. Shout out tennis. Actually, one of the sports I played when I was younger. Absolutely love tennis. Still like watching tennis, by the way.
Seeing a little market poll on some of these names.
BTCT should be opening here pretty soon. Smoke Tuna is saying the indication 7:55, so it looks like that indication is coming in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Crow with the dad joke here. Tennis is a real racket of a game. Let's go, Crow with the dad joke. You just love to see it.
DJT trying to push up the VWAP has a bit of a wall at 30.69. I don't know how much longer SPY is going to continue to sell here, but it looks like just beneath 597 might be a support area. We also have 596.65 as a previous all-time high that could do support if we get that low.
Workhorse here up near the highs. This moved through that level that we talked about earlier. DC 59 looks like they're on Workhorse along with Crow. Good stuff. BTCT is open and out here. Bang. Looks like it's going to halt again at 780.
Went down to what, 650?
Yeah, let's see if I can here. Let me get this up here. Wow, being a little bit late to that saved me. It looks like it dropped first and then went higher here. Looks like the low print on this candle 13,619.
Oh wow.
It really pulled, but man, it that rocketed there. What is the float on this one? Okay, so all out of this one, float 2.6 million. Yeah. That was a good winner though.
Yeah, this is the Arval one, the one that needs cash. Getting a mention of BCG. This one was traded yesterday. Looks like if this continues to move up, it's going to run into resistance around 380. If you look at the pre-market and after hours, that's about the area where it was running into resistance. So that's going to be a level to either break over or watch for resistance.
Okay. Oh, James. Sorry about that, man. Boy, if you take a few days off, you guys can be hard to find. I think I finally found my way back to the clubhouse. James, I'm willing to bet that this was just kind of serendipitous. We actually had a programming schedule shakeup here. Dennis and Joel broke off to go on their own. So what that means is that the show is no longer called Live Trading. Instead, it's called Benzinga's Market Edge. And the best part, we start at 8 a.m. Eastern now, James. So if you are one of the early birds here, you're going to be able to join us earlier. We do some interviews there. We try to run through the list. We have more time to prepare for the market. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, maybe this is one of the reasons it's been so great recently. We've had more time to prepare, more time to kind of go over some of the movers, more time to get kind of a lay of the land there. Ryan's making me pull my stream up. That's a good thing, James. James, I know you've got other work to do, so you have an excuse. Appreciate your support, man. Thank you, Crow. Crow, I know you've been around for a long time watching this. I know sometimes things shake up here, but appreciate your support, my man. Appreciate your support. Mike, great to see you here today. What are you trading today, Mike? What should the group take a look at here? Great to have you.
Sorry, I'm just...
You're good, dude. Everything's good.
Looking at Shopify, it's another one of these really, really wild, outsized moves. This is potentially going to be another one that gets hammered once this whole rally's over. I mean, gosh, that is just a massive move.
You know, one of the things, so I covered Shopify in my earnings rundown here this morning, 13, before you got here. One of the things that I asked the audience at that time was, does anyone intentionally use Shopify? Like, the only reason I have any experience with it is because some of the places that I order from end up shipping their stuff with Shopify, and that's how I do all my tracking, and it gives me these bonus cash, whatever they call it over there. I don't know if I've ever used any of that bonus cash. I don't know if I've shopped. I don't think that I've shopped anymore because of that. So I'm just wondering what the draw is here for people. Revenues are fantastic. I doubt it pulls back a lot, says Jay.
Okay, that's fine. I just think that this move, this extension from gosh, where did we close yesterday? Almost 90, and we're up at 113. That's an outsized move.
Sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there. Real quickly here, though, I did want to cover this. Mike, you had mentioned that you cashed MPWR. This was Monolithic Power Systems. They had a gigantic move down yesterday. Monolithic Power System shares are trading higher. Oppenheimer and Needham reiterated the buy rating on the stock. So my follow-up question here for you, Mike, what was your trade plan here? Can you share that with the group on how you traded one of these names that really just got pounded and has now bounced? It actually retraced 50% of that. What are you looking? So they got upgraded. So basically yesterday, you're looking at this get sold off here, and you're seeing upgrades here this morning, and you think, you know what, this is a bounce play here today.
Did you close your XBP? Because that's rolling over.
My XBP had a stop on it, and I am stopped out of it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we were kind of liking that a little bit once it got above VWAP, but we were, I think, was it Smoke Tuna or somebody? It
was Tuna.
Yeah, he was saying it looked weak. I agreed. This is what we were seeing. We were just not liking the volume in this one. It was having a hard time getting back up. But that's XBP for you.
So real quickly here, just as kind of like a strategy thought here, one of the things that I've been doing is BTCT open.
Yep.
Let me go to it real quick. Why are you not working? There we go. Okay, so it looks like it's pulling here, BTCT. And going higher now. Oh, doctor, this is all over the board. Oh, I'm so glad I already have gains and I have a really small position here. This is exactly the type of stuff that I like to avoid.
Yeah.
And this moves low and stopped out. Okay. Whew. Well, at least we made some on the first move. BTCT. Let's get set up here again.
It might not be done.
It might not be. That's all right though.
Yeah, but we can move on from this because this is the kind of price action that could really get your account killed if you go too big into this.
But we did hook it. We did hook it before this all happened. So there's no reason for us to chase any type of wild stuff like this. We just don't even need to do that.
Tisha with low volume, but it's trying to turn around.
And it look at that 65 EMA almost as like you planned that.
How about that moving average?
Do you like apples? Well, we've got a support. How do you like?
Yeah, as long as we're talking to the fruit.
How do you like them apples? Okay, let me go back to that MPWR. You said, yes, it got upgraded. We knew it was false information. Okay, so real quickly here, MPWR, did I get that right? I did. So you're talking about this yesterday. Shares down 20% as traders circulate a research firm contended in a note that investors that performance issues with the company's voltage regulator module/power management appear likely, or to severely limit or eliminate Monolithic's allocation in NVIDIA's Blackwell. God, I'm sorry that was so difficult for me to say. So basically, Mike, you're saying you saw the rumor yesterday. Yeah, you knew it was false. You saw reiteratings here this morning, and you think, giddy up, this was a long side trade here. Is that basically the thesis here on MPWR and how you traded it?
Lion Atlas, I think we need to get Benzinga to host a party at their office.
Lion Atlas, Ryan 13, I think we all need to come, all of us together in the summer, and we put up a great party. Look, this has been something that I love the idea here. For those of you folks that have met me, you know I'm definitely a huge fan of meeting the community. It's not just behind the screen here. An outing would be awesome. I'll say this: if we want Benzinga to participate, there needs to be a revenue angle for them. All right, so that's the first thing to consider. We would need to think about that. That likely means there's going to be ticket prices. Now, if you guys want to just set up a meetup, I'm in. I'm in for that. You know I'm in for that. It would definitely be great to meet the entire team. It would definitely be great to meet the entire team.
Looks like BTCT is not quite finished yet.
It's finished for me. I'm out of that one.
Yeah. If you're going to keep trading this, just understand that the risk is much higher now, and so too might the price.
Chris says we could get a group rate on a cruise. I'll organize the trip. BZ doesn't need to be involved.
What are we going to call that cruise? Benzinga?
Benzinga. I need to come to Chicago. I want to see the Chicago Bean. That's actually really cool. And obviously everyone takes pictures with it. Pretty cool little thing. But I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm up for that. Workhorse continuing to push higher here. Can't believe Workhorse is a stock, huh? That's all you needed to say, 13, and we're going to push higher here on WKHS.
Well, what was the news on this? What's the reason it's moving?
Has earnings in 2 days.
That's not news.
I mean, I don't see any other news. Did someone else?
I mean, well, I'm just wondering if there's like a theme that we're seeing here. Is it, what are EVs doing? Or are there EVs doing worse? So there's more hope for this one. Is there something in the technology space that Workhorse is associated with? Like, there's got to be something else that's going on with this other than, but unless it's just one of those, hey, this thing's been beaten up and ignored for so long, let's push it.
NVIDIA calls really kind of flowing in here, by the way. NVIDIA pressing the highs here. Looks like a 150 test on deck here.
Also, Archer pushing up too after getting support from BWEP. And as far as Tisha goes, I don't know what's going to happen if it gets to VWAP. I think that's going to be the resistance spot, and then it might go lower beneath the 65 EMA. That's just my thought. But I just don't like the way the volume in Tish is looking. Smoke Tuna mentioned earlier that it looked weak. I agree with him on that point again. Be careful if you're still trading Tisha. It's really slowed down, and it's still beneath VWAP. Oh, I might need to do something about Tyson.
That traded up today post earnings here. Sorry, let me put this on screen. You can go ahead and mention that. Let me finish this work that I have to do here real quick.
Yeah, I didn't. I knew that they had earnings. I just hadn't taken a look at it. This is one of these longer term plays, and I'm already held this for a year, but I still think it was going to be worth closer to the 70s. This is much better price to start trimming. That's something I have to also do as well as kind of decide how I'm going to take my gains in this. In addition to researching all those space plays that we were looking at. GNPX is Smoke Tuna. Let's see what that's doing. This thing is just shooting straight up. They had news yesterday. This is relative volume. What is this? They also filed something. No, I'm sorry. That was not yesterday. That was Tuesday last week. And they haven't had any news this week. This must be related to the prospectus.
Okay, sorry. I'm back in the saddle here.
Not sure what Genprex is moving on here. I think it might have something to do with this filing they did, but I don't know. Well,
nice volume on GMPX.
Regardless, it's a very low float stock. It's got a good portion of the float shorted, 14%, which is kind of a new high in the amount of the float that's short. Actually, it's never been shorted this much. Maybe that's it. Never been shorted this much, so it's looking like a squeeze opportunity, and they're taking it. That would be my guess. I don't see anything else at the moment, so if there's something else, I'm not sure what it is. Okay. What else is doing things? Looks like BTCT was still hanging in there.
Yeah, Smoke Tuna had called that might be the next move here. I was a little bit late to it, so maybe that did happen. Brian, good morning. Mentioning Tesla here, that it did look like Tesla was maybe trying to turn around a little bit here on the 5 minute. Look where it's finding resistance. 13. That's 65 EMA. We did take out the VWAP. Did find some resistance here at the 65 EMA at 343.07. See if we can get above that. I would have as the next level. Beg your pardon. There, next level here, 348.
That pesky EMA hurting all the bears. You said 348?
348 would be the next level if it can break this 343, which is that 65 EMA. Yep.
Yeah, I like the way that looks.
Yep. That would be one of the resistance areas where it kind of turned around in the pre-market there. I'm looking at the call flow here. I'm seeing a lot of NVIDIA calls get bought, but I haven't seen a whole lot of Tesla calls yet. I wonder if that picks up if this continues to move higher. Tesla calls, looks like 370 calls. Someone swept up about 100 of those. Here we go. Tesla, that's calls and puts. ASTS, one of your space names there. That might have been a closing trade, though. Looks like that probably was.
I like the way those wicks look.
Yeah,
anyway.
PDD lower here. What does that daily chart look like? Oh, let me reset this. What on earth? Oh, need a refresh here, I'm afraid.
Okay. All right, so Tisha almost to VWAP.
Man, FMC. What's going on with FMC? This is one of the worst days it's had in a long time.
Let's see.
Yeah, let me take a look there. I didn't see any news here, but maybe I missed it. Stock's down 4% here today. No buyers, just a big move down. To be honest with you, this has been really disappointing. Just unable to get above 67. Had multiple attempts to do that here. Wonder if this tests the bottom end of the range here, like 54.
Yeah, I could go to 50.
Friday, we got price rating hikes on it. Outperform 81, 81, 70. Man, oh man.
It's a long-term hold.
Yeah.
So it will be good. I'm sure once we start worrying more about food security, this FMC could do a lot better.
Okay.
It's a fertilizer play, so. And I think they also do pesticides and things like that.
Okay. One of the stocks we were taking a look at here for a trade was going to be Google. That did not bounce at the VWAP. That just straight up lost it.
BTCT still holding that 7
area. Holding in there. Yeah, it sure is. I got that on another screen here. I'm just kind of watching it.
Oh, Workhorse FedEx fans. Thank you. Okay, so that's the news. Let's see if I can. This from earlier this month you're talking about? Okay. Yeah, because they had some good news earlier this month. But it doesn't look like they really moved. No, maybe they started to. Volume really started to expand yesterday, though. All right. Okay, so there we go with Tisha. That's starting to get weaker. Didn't even quite hit the VWAP, but starting to leak a little bit. Excuse me. Archer also testing that trend line as support. It's trading beneath VWAP. What is the SPY doing? Did we
SPY's kind of holding in there. We moved here. I'll bring it up on screen. We could talk about it. We haven't done a market checkup in a little bit. Maybe that's a good idea. SPY traded up out of the open here, came pretty much all the way back to where we closed yesterday, and volume less than impressive here. 7 million shares only, that including the opening print.
Yeah. As soon as the Fed speakers came on, that's when we started getting the weakness. Yep. Are they still talking right now?
You know what? I don't have, let me see. Let me actually go to this. Let's see. Looks like if it, If it is, it's barking, but this last quote here was from 20 minutes ago.
Okay. As soon as they stop talking, I think that the market would turn around.
Fed has started process of recalibrating interest rates to somewhat less restrictive levels. U.S. economy looks pretty good. Labor market resilient. From here, labor market could be fine or might continue to weaken. Inflation might be coming under control or might risk getting stuck above Fed's 2% target. We've been saying that it was not going to get down to the Fed's 2% target for over a year. So nice job with your transitory opinion. We've had that pegged for a while. Fed's focus may turn to upside inflation risk or to downside employment risks. Okay.
Here we go with BTCT. Looks like it's about to make that move.
Hopefully you don't get head faked on this one, especially if you have some green built up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give it away.
Need a little bit more volume and not quite.
So, Mike, this is an interesting point. We've kind of been kicking this around in the pre-market, for heaven's sakes, in the happy hour show as well here. Mike saying the Fed is a moot point till the next government. In my opinion, Powell, Gensler, and Yelling, I think he means Yellen, are gone here. So Powell, we think, is going to finish out his term, right? That's 2026. Check me on that. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
You're right here about the moot point. Now, here's my question, Mike. As this pertains to trades, do you think that this is just kind of risk on for the end of the year? Do you kind of take that away from this? Like maybe we won't have a whole lot of big Fed action until the new year, until the next administration takes over? You let me know what you think about that.
We have CPI tomorrow, so we'll see how the market takes
sadly,
that.
we both went to the same high school. Hopefully not the same class, though, Mike, right? You're a couple years younger than her. Powell stays till 26. Thank you. Clean slate. That's what I thought.
And Tisha down.
Now you're many years younger than Yellen. Okay. Oh, Mike. It's good to have you here, Mike.
GNPX popped to 04 and then came back in now approaching VWAP.
Let me bring that up here for you. Oh, that was actually a good, whoever mentioned this when we first started, this was a good move. I didn't hit this one, but hopefully someone else out there made some money.
Still waiting for that big,
nonetheless.
Still waiting for that big pop in BTCT. Waiting for that to do its thing. Not sure when it's going to happen. It might actually happen right now. We'll see.
Tesla, Lion Atlas, that I am keeping that. Like every time that I look over to my left here, one of the things that I'm checking is a Tesla chart that I have on my broker. You're right. This is curling here. Really haven't shown any upside strength here today, but so far it's curling. BTCT went. All I had to do was take it off the screen. So there we go, folks. So hopefully that worked for you. Not in this, not playing this move at all. I'm done with BTCT for today.
Yeah. Yeah, it can do whatever wild shit it wants to do from here. Just don't be tempted to try it if you're not willing to lose. Some of these names just kind of sideways, kind of waiting for the Fed to be done talking, maybe, or something else.
Well, I don't know if he's still going. I don't see anything on CNBC. And like I said, let me see if I got any more quotes out of him.
And then we have one more.
Nope, that was the last one. I think Barkin might be done.
Okay.
Christoph said that one move made my day. Christoph.
Nice.
That is awesome. Sometimes that's all you need, right? Sometimes that's all you need. Great job staying patient and being ready and then taking advantage when your move was presented. Really good stuff there, Christoph.
We still have Kashkari, who speaks at 2
later,
p.m.
though, right? Yeah, 2 p.m. Okay, perfect.
So we're in the clear till then. RVPH. This one was getting mentioned earlier. Very slow mover, but new high just reached. New intraday high, that is.
BTCT, this is going to get halted here. Nope. Pulled it off the spot. That was the halt spot there, but they pulled it off.
Okay, well, I guess we're getting that $9.90 to $10 print pretty soon here.
Look at you guys are all mentioning it. You guys are saying out BTC. This is BTCT. Yes. You guys are doing exactly what we want. Awesome stuff here for the group. Awesome stuff here for the group. And as a reminder, if you guys made money off any of the calls here, tweet me or post on X. I'm still going to say tweet. You guys know what I mean. Post on X, though. I'll be happy to retweet you. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Twitter handle in the chat.
Halted there. So
great job, folks.
Huh?
I'm just saying great job to the group. BTCT has been paying all day.
973. And that was just beneath what we were looking for, the $9.90 to $10. I could see that if I want to be on halt, but that was the maybe. So we got the maybe. Now the next one is I don't know if it's going to happen or not. BS play I told you about earlier. Let me give you that level again.
$90 in 10 seconds. I'll take that all day long, Chris. Gary saying you guys rock. Got BTCT 720 getting out. No early calls until you close the position. Those gains are paper gains until you actually take them.
Oh yeah. So the wild price, if this thing goes absolutely bonkers, that was up closer to 17.
17.
Yeah. So we'll see if we get that.
I mean,
there's still the whole day ahead of us.
I was going to say, I might be upset if we get that, having no position here. We'll see if we set up for another buy there. Really good stuff, though. $17. I'll keep that in the back burner.
All right. And then we can laugh about it tomorrow if it actually does hit us.
and you can bet your bottom dollar we will laugh about it. When we get some of these crazy moves here, we enjoy laughing about stuff like that.
And I know some folks are gonna be like, "Oh, I missed this," but here's the thing: we've been there before, where we've seen these movers just go absolutely crazy in and out of halts on what seems to be no news. It's moving on relative volume, folks. 13. That's what this is moving on.
13. So, shoot, holding it to 17. Then you're the man. Oh,
you like doing that to me, don't you?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he likes getting a rise out of you. We've been very, very clear, Gary. Look. If you hold that and it doesn't get there and you take a loss, you have no one to blame but yourself. Pay yourself on the way up.
That's funny. Oh, wow, sideshow. Man, so he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to buy it and then walk away. Holy crap. Bought it, you're up $2? Score for sure, man. I don't want to say GNPX is getting ready to go again, but it doesn't look like it's quite finished yet. It's still above the VWAP and volume is starting to expand. ACHR, that one's still trying to get back above 470. Volume's really started to drop off in this one. I don't know if we're going to, let's see how much time is left here. We might get over 100,000 shares traded in this one, but the volume is really drying up in Archer. Looks like EVGO is finally turning around after hitting a bottom at 515. Lots of room left to go to get back up to VWAP. Shop, Zoom, Twillo reminds me of the days of the past. These were the hot ones. You mean back when the pandemic was going? J Rice? Because they were hot. They were hot shit. Everybody had stimulus money. Everybody was at home, working at home.
And I mean, stocks like Zoom, dude, that was the easiest pandemic play of them all. Everyone thought that, oh my God. And just listening to the news, by the way, yeah, hopefully people learn their lesson from that. That's all I'm going to say. But watching the news, oh my God, we're never going to be able to go out. We're never going to be able to do this. Well, thankfully there's Zoom. This thing went to 600 on that. Here we are back down here at $86. Pretty decent range though. Twilio also one of those bigger moves. How many stocks did we go through on this move 13 where we were like, they're going to get cut in half and then cut in half again?
Oh God, there's so many.
There were so many.
Some that got, yes, Piton is another one that, that got cut in half and cut in half and cut in half and killing kids and cut in half. That's the reason why it got really smacked down in the first place, because of that the child death.
Wasn't there some like show too? There was like some Hollywood something or other where a show portrayed someone dying on it. I can't remember exactly what it is. Can't remember. Voodoo asking, Ryan, do we have Anne Marie today? Yes, as far as I know, we do. I did speak with her this morning. So yes, we do.
And hello, Voodoo.
And by the way, we're also trying to rebook Scott Redler for tomorrow. I know we didn't get a chance to talk to him this morning. We're going to try and do that tomorrow.
BTCT open hit 1061, so there's that target taken out. Now we just got to wait and see what it does next. We might see a little bit of pullback. Probably would wonder if we see some pullback to about the 850, 860 area. And then if it continues to push up, the target.
17.
Yeah.
So Gary might be doing a money dance on his desk.
And here we go. 11.
Oh my God. If this is going to do it, I swear, 13, if this is going to do it, do you have a trailer?
Well,
just in case?
Nope. I'm not going to chase this thing. I already traded enough today.
Me either. I went all out. That's my own fault. Someone in here was telling me to hold one share. I didn't listen to that person.
Well, you got stopped out, so that's your excuse.
Didn't listen. My own fault. Voodoo KRE, let me add that to the list. We'll see. A lot of it depends on the options and the volume, Voodoo, but we can always suggest it.
And look, I have no regrets about not being in this, because that was a wildly speculative call. Even if it does go there, you got to remember, we talked about this company. We talked about it in depth. This is moving on nothing. Relative volume. This company needs cash. It's a junky name. Do not hold this. Just trade it.
Tom Regan, beg your pardon. Is that Penny from 59? Anyway, is this insane or what? Yes, Tom, confirmed. Moves like this are insane. We do try and hit some of these. This is why you'll see us trading some of these junkier names. I know sometimes we get that question. Why are you guys trading some micro cap that nobody's ever heard of instead of NVIDIA? Well, this is why. Because occasionally we hook some of these. What?
Yeah, you can get married to NVIDIA. I wouldn't get married to any of these that we're trading.
Definitely not.
Look at gosh, you guys are funny. Mentioning Robert's mentioning that he likes KRE. That's the regional bank ETF. Yes, regional banks probably will do better under this administration, most likely.
BTCS, this also moving here. This massively expanding volume. This not halting. What's going on with this one?
BTCS.
Yeah.
So if BTCT doesn't move, this one does. Is that what happens?
Online e-commerce marketplace where consumers can purchase merchandise using digital assets, including Bitcoin.
Okay.
The company focuses on blockchain and digital asset ecosystems. The firm operates Beta e-commerce marketplace, accepts a range of digital currencies. Okay.
All right. Let's see what this company's all about.
It's the expanding volume that's got me looking at this here, and it's very, very similar to another ticker we're trading. So I'm skeptical, I guess you could say.
They really do love all their little moving bullet points on on their website. Jeez. This is a Maryland-based business. Okay. Well, have fun with that one. Stopping in to wish you all abundance and fantastic pills and exits. May your days
That sounds
be
like
blessed.
wisdom.
Yes,
It is wisdom.
Thank you, Wisdom. We're having a great day here.
Tom saying FOMO big time. Look, Tom, one of the things that we've learned here on this show, especially during the live trading hours, there will be future opportunities. The last thing that you want to do is be buying BTCT here at 12 and then looking back and selling it at 6 and being like, where did it go wrong? We found these really, really early on. We will continue to try and do that. Push that FOMO to the side, brother. We will find another. You just got to be, ooh.
And tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, I just came up with something. Push that to the side, brother. We will find another.
Ryan dropping bars over here.
Here we go. I called it when it was around 7. If that holds, can go to 10. This is exactly what I mean. This is why when you see a stock just absolutely popping off, chasing it, not the right thing to do. Maybe it'll work sometimes. Maybe it will work sometimes. But what you're doing there is you're then conditioning yourself to do something that is not safe. I promise we will try and find more of these going forward here. And you know, one other thing about this is another thing that we've been discussing in the happy hour show at the end of the day. If the market is coming up to any type of top, like if we are going to sell off at some point, right before that happens, you likely see a whole bunch of these stocks making humongous outsized moves. So there might be a morning here where we've got several of these going on at once.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to get your capital destroyed ahead of time. No reason to do that.
Yeah, the multiple 100% runners in a day, that's when that's a good indication that you're nearing a market top, when the speculation is just that wild.
Yeah.
Tisha, by the way, this one's trying to make another trip up to BWAP here. Volume still doesn't look great, but keep an eye on it if this is something you're liking to trade. It might push through BWAP, but I don't know how it'll hold it. So BTCS kind of going the way of BTCT. This thing now up to 355. Let's see here. Maybe I can find some levels for BTCS since this thing is just crazy right now.
I think Cleo likes it. Anyone hear Cleo in the background?
I do a little bit.
How's Humana doing after that? It didn't even get back to even. That was that scratched merger with CI Cigna Group. That's still holding after that initial pop. BTCT is open 1575.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
I'm serious. On screen, bro.
Here we go.
I swear to God, if this goes to 17, I'm going to make a new decree here. If this does hit the crazy, what did you describe it as? The crazy target from earlier?
The crazy target. Yeah.
Going forward, when playing any of these, this is how I'm gonna do it. Just to kind of condition myself. This is halted again, by the way, to the upside. 1575. The way I'm going to play this going forward here, however many shares we take, 1,000, 1,500, 200, 300, whatever it is, when we hit out, instead of saving one share, like was suggested here today, I'm going to save 100 shares, because even 100 shares from 7 to 15 right here is a double.
Yep. I had no idea it was actually going to do it. I just found levels and I said, this is where it could go. But I mean, how wild it's going to be, you can never find.
Mike says we should do a mandatory shot. Mike, I can't be shooting liquor that early in the morning. I will lose my job if that's the case.
Maybe a Bailey's for the morning alcohol.
By the way, here, sorry. Jerry here saying I took the plunge at 650 sitting on 100 shares. This is what I mean. Even 100 shares at this point, you're having a darn good day.
Yeah, he is.
You're having a darn good day.
And it was also getting a mention that
Thanks 13 for the wins, says Zebev. Like, I'm not even here. So there you go, 13. We'll just change this to the 13 wins hour and we'll be done. Gary saying the same thing.
Shut your damn mouth. All right, so BTCS, that's also halted.
So, oh, did it really? So are these? Oh my God.
I didn't really find the level for BTCS, but I'm still kind of working on that. So now I have an opportunity to, not be so rushed since it's halted. All right, so we're at the 369. I wonder
if these are related at some point.
Yes,
in some connection.
They both start with BTC.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you put them together alphabetically, BTCS comes first.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the keyboard. S and T are not really close to each other, so I don't think it's just a fat finger.
Yeah. I don't know how much. Okay, so let's do this for BTCS.
Wisdom is telling me I'm getting coal for Christmas.
I don't know how much more we're going to get out of BTCS. I just don't know. I just don't think we're going to see the same price action as BTCT did. So here's the next couple of targets that I think this could go up to if we get the volume. It's going to be 475 and 515. That would be my next couple of targets for BTCS.
Okay.
We can find. I'll let you know more if we even get up there, but let's see. Let's just see what happens with those.
Okay. Oh, look at this. We have a new one joining the party. BTCM.
Oh, okay. Can we scan for all stocks that start with BTC now? Can we do that? Because if the next one that starts with BTC and has a letter after it is going to go.
BTCT, BTCS, BTCM.
Damn.
What on earth is going on today? What on earth is going on?
I bet these are all moving off relative volume too.
No, BTCM had just a nothing day yesterday.
Okay. So then it's a relationship trade.
Yeah, it's got to be a sympathy play here. I just think that traders are just looking for anything that they can trade to the upside at this point.
Gosh, that's crazy. It does look like, well, yeah. So BTCS could be a relative volume play. That's the most volume it's had traded in a day since looks like December of 2023 last year. So
Working is saying people are thinking they're buying Bitcoin stocks. I mean, look, that's just kind of what happens sometimes. Look, here's the deal. We got to go to Anne-Marie here in a sec. So I suspect that you folks are going to stick around here in the chat and call out some of these BTC plays, aren't you? That would be my guess here. That would be my guess here. Any closing words before we move over to Anne-Marie 13?
Oh, crap.
I know. Already. This flew. I tell you what, the new format here is really sweet. We have so much time and it flies by, especially when we have big runners like this. Anyway, any closing words here for the group 13? Take a bow, maybe, because apparently you made everybody money.
You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. We'll find some more tomorrow. Hopefully we get the same kind of movement. 17 for BTCT. It's going to hit it. It just opened. It's going to hit it.
Okay, well, we're just did. Okay, Anne-Marie, I'm bringing you on here just a little early. Which one was it? BT what?
BTCT hit 17 exactly.
Okay, so we have been. You're going to be disappointed in us because we're not showing very much restraint. We have been gunslingers today, and we've been trading some of these crazy moves here. We have had just ridiculous spot on calls all the way. So I apologize for delaying our opening here. We really needed to wait for this stock to unhalt. This is the sixth resumption of the day. Stock up here 441%. And look at that. Might not even be done. Folks, all I'm going to say here, we got to go. I'm sure you guys are going to be trading this in the chat. Be careful, though. Be careful. Don't be chasing this craziness here.
I'll take off so you guys can get to your options.
Okay, but I'm assuming we'll all be in the chat here. Okay.
Bye, folks.
Anne-Marie, we've had a wild morning. How are you today?
I'm well. It has been a wild morning. Everything Bitcoin is. I even covered Bitcoin in my morning opening, which
What
I
was your read on it?
never done.
What was
Well,
your TLDR read on it?
my read was that it needed to fade and then bounce again. So you can trade the micro futures. And so I said, hey, listen, they want to take it to 100,000, but they kind of stopped dead at 90. And that's everybody going, you know what? I'm going to take some gains right now, certainly from the futures market. But the big bounce out, you know, I like to draw these boxes. The big bounce out almost came right into that number for a range trade up into the 1x. And so yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. And they certainly are chasing everything. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at BTCT from a weekly perspective. Look at where this thing was. $475 in the month that it opened in 2020. And it's gone down like, you know.
And you know what's crazy, Anne-Marie? I'm looking at Benzinga Pro. I don't have any splits here, so I don't know if this stock reverse split or anything either. Maybe it is just down from that level.
Yeah, it looks like it. And now it looks like it's basing. Of course, here's the thing about these. You don't buy them to hold them. You buy them to trade them. And so you have to be a gunslinger in this kind of environment. It's just what the chart does. Now, here's something super interesting. In 2022, it spent about 4 weeks around $16 and fell like a stone, and it's right there. So if anybody just kept it to the side and said, all right, I'm just going to break even, and that's where it's at, that's going to be great. If people are looking at that to short it, it could squeeze to 38. So there's a lot of potential motion here. It's just a matter of can it sustain? Now we got notes that, hey, listen, we're not going to have a digital currency, which thank goodness, because you don't want everybody looking at how you spend every penny, or being able to push a button and go, oh no, you don't have any money. Which
I'm with you 100%, by the way, on that. I think it is a terrible
idea. It is very, very bad. And so having a crypto fund, though, is going to be something very interesting. The thing is, who's going to last is the question. So these guys are just, you got to say, I'm going to run these, and it is what it is. And so, you know, if you do have Thinkorswim, if you put BTC up there, it gives you a slurry of them that are sitting in the space. And so let's look at a high priced one and see if it's got any chains. So this one actually doesn't look bad because it's well off its IPO lows. And it's breaking out of a range, but let's see how big this range is, just to say. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. You know, my suspicion is that when the big crowds jump in like they are right now, so 100 might be, you know, it might be going after 100 because there it is right there. But this volume pocket, a lot of things, it could run for a bit. So let's see if the chains, oh, no options. Well, that makes sense. I know that.
You know what one we might be able to take a look at for option chains? We'll see if GBTC works here, but you also might be able to look at Mara.
Oh, Mara, yes.
Because I'm pretty sure that that's very active. I know that's active amongst our group here.
Yeah, and certainly
Looks like
riots
you already did
also.
that.
Yeah.
So it looks like you've got
Yeah.
some boxes here. By the way, just to kind of clear up a mistake that we made here, appreciate you, Bigabees. BTCT did have 2 reverse splits. In May of 2022, it did a 1 for 30, and then in August of 2023, it did a 1 for 20. So it was actually never at 400, but
Oh, okay, gotcha. So
there
the
you go.
reverse splits move the dollar amounts. All
Right.
right, sounds good. So this one is really, when did it start running? It started running in 22, and it's pretty much holding its own. So let's see what Mara has available. So a couple of ways you can trade it. If you're saying to yourself, listen, if this has a savage day, I'm going to buy it because we've hit a new crypto run and it's going to last for the length of the administration, which it could. You could start looking at some of these like, all right, you know what? If it comes down to 1750, I'm going to sell that option there and I'll get it for, $16.19. So I played Mara back in this zone, up above 15. And so it's well above this region. If you're thinking, all right, what if I had something that I could sit on for a while? You could easily say, let's see what the highs are. So we've got 80. Does this one have any splits? No, I don't see any. It could easily get to 60, right? And if it went all the way to 60 and you said, all right, I'm going to give it all year. Oh, it's not even pricing 60 right now. It's not. So yeah, nothing from that long space. Listen, some of the easiest things to do, folks, if you're interested in getting involved, is selling the premium that allows you to get into the trade. And so let's see where clean support is. Volume point of control is at that number that I called out, round about 1750.
Mhm.
And so that's a zone where you go, you know what? I'm going to sell the 17s. If I get them for $16.29. If I do it in January or I do it in December. And so, yes, it pulls margin, but it prepares you for that buying zone. And if it comes in, you weren't chasing it. You're picking it up on major weekly support, and it ends up being a nice steady buy. Now, if you're in the space where you're like, man, I'm going to be a gambling fool, you can look at some of these options, but look at the implied volatilities. That number is 205. And so they are doing everything they can to make sure that they end up on the right side of this trade. Look at all the way down at the 32s. There are 40,000 options that have moved in the last little bit. You could get, you could do yourself a favor and say, hey, I'm gonna buy the 32s into December, thinking it's a house of fire. And if I sell 2 and I have the 32.39s, that gives me $7 of upside, $1 of downside. So even if it runs to, I don't know, 50 or 60, you've still got yourself a really nice trade here. You've got yourself $500 of upside for a $76 exposure. So that is something you certainly could do. And that's just piling in right where everybody else is sitting, right? So these sorts of trades, because the volatility is so high, you want it to move quickly or it's not going to work out for you. If we, let's see what January looks like. I don't know how these guys behave in January. 46,000 at the 30s. And then we've got down here at the 42, at the 40s, we've got 22,000. And so you could do something like 30 to 40 and then choose 45. That would be $1 and it would give you $1,000 of upside if it runs to 40 with, I mean, literally what this is going to give you is you're going to have, even if it goes up to 60, you're still going to collect 500 because you've got a $10 spread above and a $5 spread below, and it's not a 1x3 by 2 because you're expecting tremendous outside movement.
Okay. You asked me earlier about some things that we could take a look at. One of the viewers, Voodoo, did suggest KRE. Oh, you already pulled it up. How'd you know?
Because you told me.
Oh, okay. I did. I said one of our viewers is suggesting KRE. There we go. Look, it's been a wild morning, Emery. It's been a wild morning, Emery, and I started working at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I might make a few
don't read your notes.
What's that?
I always read your notes.
Oh, I know. That I don't doubt.
All right. So regional banks are going gangbusters. So the question is, why? And I suspect they're just running with the wind like everybody else, right? Everything's bullish. Notice this big breakout. It happened last week. Let's see what day last week. Has it been more than a week since the election? I don't even remember.
It will be a week today. Election day was Tuesday last week.
Okay. So it looks like the 6th. Was that Monday? Yeah. So Monday it started really rallying hard. And so it broke out of this pocket. And let's see which box really works. So what I try to do with this box, this range, is where does it come back, break out, and then retest? What that tells me is traders came in, they sold it, they bought it, they tried to sell it again and failed. And so this floor at 58 looks like nice, clean support for this chart. And so let's see how many X's it's gone up. Right there at the top at 3X. Okay. So my suspicion is that it starts to stall here and it comes back and either tests the floor at 63 and moves to the north, or comes all the way back to 58 and then starts consolidating again. So I know there's a lot of options there. I know all of us go, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this. The way you can be a part of it, if you're committed to the regional banks, again, sell a put, right? And you can sell the 60s. They're only 51 cents, but you can sell those and you'll have the revenue stream from it, or you can do a short put spread and collect that way. And then that way it doesn't take so much risk away from you. And if you're staring down the move, what is this move? It looks like 62 to 67, so $5. So $5 from the high would be 72. You could say, all right, I'm going to sell the 73 78s, and you have yourself, oops, sorry, that would be 78, Anne-Marie. And you have yourself an iron condor, right? Again, gives you plenty of upside motion. It allows you to participate in a credit. It allows you to collect money while the charts are moving up. But none of these are YOLO trades. And so here, I want to stop and say, this is a little bit of a fever pitch that we're in right now. And so when we're in a fever pitch, options really aren't the best way to go unless something is fueling the market pressure event. Now, we just had a 25 basis point cut. The voting Fed that just finished speaking said, hey, listen, I'm really not sure that we are going to tamp down on inflation if we add another rate cut. And so that becomes a problem. And what we want to see is liquidity rush into the market. And it's coming in inflows from ETFs. And so if you're staring down an ETF and you're saying, all right, what do I want to take the bull by the horns, metaphorically speaking. If we go to something like SPY, here's the thing. If you believe, I think somebody pretty bullish has like 6,300 on the S&P 500. And so if you looked at the relative space, and that's 630, right? And you say, all right, maybe just before the Santa Claus rally, it hit 630. You can also do that and then try to cover yourself a little bit in terms of a butterfly. So let's, 157,000 at 615. Wow. Okay. So if we go to 615 and then we give ourselves $10. Now let's give ourselves $15, right? 635. And we do a 1 by 3 by 2, really expensive, $200, but of course we're getting, what is that? $10, $20, $2,000 of motion in there. So it'd be a 10 to 1 if it works, but it's a very expensive trade in terms of options and in terms of butterflies, even if it is a 1 by 3 by 2, giving us that extra kind of room. So although I'd love to go, hey, listen, here's what we go. We're going to just buy a bunch of calls and sit on them. You could. It's just not, if you thought, ooh, order just went off. If you could say, hey, listen, I want to be in a space where I don't have to worry about my position immediately rolling over, you know, short puts way out of the money are going to be the best bet, right? That's the 565, I think, is the floor here, 567. So if you did 567, let's do 565.
Okay.
And you went 565 to 560. Not a lot of premium, right, for December. Not a lot at all. And that really means that the market makers are, for January, it's only 51. The market makers are really pricing in a lot of future motion. Let's take a look at the tradable VIX, not because we're going to take a position, but because of what we see happening in the chart. So it's fallen off a cliff, right? We know this. Listen to me. for anybody who's listening here, if at any point you think to yourself, ooh, the VIX is 30, I'm going to buy it, I want to tell you that's a really bad idea. The VIX gets to 30, you sell it. If you've sold an option spread at all based on volatility, it might run a little bit against you, but if you've got it far out in advance, it's going to roll right over. There's too much other things going on in the market for the VIX to hold. And then, of course, not talking about any kind of World War III event, but at the same time, a couple of weeks after any kind of war breaks out, the VIX falls again. So it's all about that risk space. You might say, Anne-Marie, does this look like it could be holding a floor? And that's fairly legitimate. So you want to keep your eyes, just for grins, you want to keep your eyes on that number at 15 to see if it loses that zone in the next few days. Because if it loses it, markets could definitely head higher, and 12 would be the next number down. But if it holds it, markets are going to start retracing. And really, I have been trading micro Bitcoin today, and I've been trading it short off of these ledges simply because that 90,000 was a zone that I said, hey, I think people are going to fade this a little bit. I think they're going to fade it at least to 84,500 potentially. And that's going to shake out a lot of weak hands, but give us more buying opportunities in the future. So we will definitely check that out. So as far as the KRE goes, selling the puts or doing an iron condor should be a very nice trade. Let's take a look. Meta has been running off the rails, right? Has it not? Let me see.
It has.
And so has Tesla. But all of a sudden now we see ourselves a little bit of a stall. Take a look. We've got ourselves what looks like a triple top. Now, I hear people go, there's no such thing as a triple top. I don't know about that. I think
why? What's the argument?
I don't even know. I've heard people say that and go, whatever, dude. So
I say quadruple top in some cases when I see
it. Exactly. So here we have this range, and Meta is holding very nicely, but if it loses this ledge at 360, here is the last breakout zone at 560. Here's the next breakout zone at 540. And so this one also could give us a little bit of motion. Now, you can see the moves up have had some good volume, and then it's sort of tapering off. So, I hate to bring us more granny panties to the rescue, but
here we go.
I suspect a pretty iron condor here might work. And so let's go to the weekly. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. I don't know.
Because it's funny.
It does. Yeah. All right. Okay. Trend line. Let's shoot this trend line up and over. Right? So we anticipate that this chart, when it comes in, it's going to find a floor. So how do we want to do that, right? If we find a floor, then a short put spread is the best thing to look at. And if it heads up to the ceiling, 640 is the number ahead. ATR on the weekly only $6. So if for happenstance, and again, you might want to give these a little bit of time if we're going for these wider ranges. And so we're either looking for the 540 test or the 640 test. So if we did 550 to 540 to 530, that's 50 cents. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. If we go to 640, I want 640 to be the middle strike. We go 630, 640, 650, 33 cents. So this puts it on the books, gives us time to wash out. Maybe you buy one, and when it fades or a little bit more time goes on and price action is staying the same, or maybe it's dropped 10 or 15%, you buy another. But there's no reason in the world to say, hey, I got to go out and buy 500 of these, or however many you might want to buy, right? This one I like. It's got room. My gut feels like it's going to fade, but I have to tell you, during the burn up of the 2020s and price action, and price action just going off the rails, I had a tough time chasing the market. Every day I got up, I was like, holy smokes, this thing's running again.
Yep.
And so unless you're staring it down, but this gives us plenty of room to the upside, gives us plenty of time. When's their earnings event? Right? They don't have earnings until February, right? So we have plenty of time for this chart to simply choke around and do its thing. And if you're interested and you're saying to yourself, well, wait a second, I just spent that money on those, I would like to collect some revenue, you sell the 655, 660s, and you buy and you sell the 525, 520s. Oh, good golly. Normally that would look like an iron condor instead of 4 different orders. Okay, 525, 520s. Goodness sakes. Shrek at the wheel. Sorry.
Mouse giving you trouble there?
Oh, no. Totally operator error.
Okay.
I'd love to blame it. I'd love to blame it on that. Okay, so 525, 520, 555, 560. And, that's a great credit. $1.60 is a great credit. You want more than 20% of the range. And so it gives you a good credit. It allows you to pay for everything there and, puts you in great shape where this could win and this could win. And, everybody's sitting in the catbird seat. So that looks pretty good.
Okay. Love it, Anne-Marie. Really good stuff. That is perfect timing too. We're about done here. So we'll see what we can set up for Friday as well. Really good stuff. Lion Atlas, do we have Tim tomorrow? Tim is actually going to be Thursday as he had a traveling conflict this week. So look for Tim Thursday morning. Anne-Marie, thank you so much yet again.
Always a pleasure.
And folks, thank you for everything. Smash up the like for Anne-Marie here, and we will see you next time. Anne-Marie, I will see you this evening.
Yes.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. And folks, I'm going to send you over to a webinar now. Thanks again for all of your support. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused, and we'll see you.